That makes sense.
No, I need a vacation though. Vacation somewhere soon.
Get off these damn feet.
Yes.
All right, let's get this thing started. Hey, hey.
No.
I know you guys just got done last night, so it's kind of weird to do this big introspection, but we're going to do so anyways. Just as you kind of look back at, your initial season and, we've talked about the milestones and things like that, but kind of when you look back at it all as a big picture, what kind of stands out to you about your growth, just learning the league, just the kind of journey of year one?
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey to get here. I think the first thing is I feel super grateful and blessed. I think everything happens the way it's supposed to happen and at the time it's supposed to happen. But I know I mentioned before, I was really unsure about playing at this level or how I would do in the W. So to be able to come in my rookie year and have such an impact is something that I feel super grateful for. And I truly believe it's because of the people that I've been around every single day. They pour into me, my coaches, my teammates, the front office, like they were like, just go out there, have fun, play basketball. They gave me the confidence in moments when I didn't feel like I was very confident. So I think being here with the Mystics has helped me just see myself as, okay, I'm capable at playing at this level, but it's been fun. The highs, the lows. I've had so much fun doing it with my sisters, and I'm sad we don't play like tomorrow. um, but no, I wouldn't trade my rookie year for anything. I think I learned so much. I've grown as a player, but more importantly, I've grown as a person, and I'm excited for the off season to just get ready, get better for next season.
Speaking of the off season, you're not a rookie anymore,
I know.
and this is about to be a really strange off season for the entire league as the CBA gets worked out
Yeah.
and so many people unrestricted. As you, someone who's going to be here, who's a cornerstone of this franchise moving forward, do you talk to teammates and people on the way out about the off season? Do you start recruiting for the franchise? That kind of how do you kind of approach this off season now as, one of the few pieces that we know will be back?
Yeah, I definitely haven't thought too much about what that looks like for me. But obviously, we want to build something. We want to have longevity. We want to become a championship team, and we know that takes time. So definitely, whatever I can do in helping with that, I want to make sure I'm doing that. But most importantly, filling myself up first, and my body. I haven't had a rest since July last year. I've been going straight. So just really taking care of my body. And I feel like that's the biggest thing I've learned being a pro is like the vets, they don't play about their rehab, their recovery. So I think I can do a better job of that. But just this off season, just honestly, from a holistic standpoint, my mind, my body, my spirit, I kind of just want to make sure I'm filling all those cups up so that I can be ready to go next season.
And just one last one for me. Kind of speaking also about yourself for off season. Got to get some rest and recovery because it has been a long season going back to that last college year, but coming fresh off of this season now, a couple things that are in your mind that you want to work on. Everybody always kind of picks something, hey, you want to come back better. Is there something in the forefront of your mind that like, hey, I want to work on X this off
Yeah.
season kind of a thing?
I think I'm excited because I feel like there's so many things to work on, and I'm not someone that thinks I have it all together. But I will say, when we played Atlanta the last time at Atlanta, guarding those post players and they were popping, rolling, shooting the three, you couldn't stop. I'm like, I need to come back next season and be able to shoot the three at a high clip. So I would say that's something like I always say, like, I'm going to be a 3 point shooter, but like that, no, that's happening next season. Like, I want teams the same way that I have to guard their post players at the 3 point line in the paint. Like, I want teams to have to do the same thing with us as well. So that's probably a main focus is really being comfortable shooting the three and making a high impact from the 3 point line. Yeah.
Kiki, thanks for doing this and thanks for all season long with all that you've given to us. Do you have any official off-season plans on if you're going to be playing or doing anything?
TBD. Still figuring out everything. Definitely will be playing, but not super sure on all of that yet. But yeah.
When you think of the year in totality, I know the season didn't end the way that the team collectively wanted to, but where does that kind of factor in and your impression of the year as a whole?
I couldn't be prouder of this group and what we've done. I think we were picked 13 in the league to finish 13th and we didn't. So I think we've already exceeded expectations in that regard. Obviously, we have high expectations for ourselves, so we would love to be in the playoffs and at least have a shot at that. But I think we exceeded everybody's expectations and we've grown so much, we learned so much. We're such a young group, and to be able to compete night in and night out, like for the most part, our losses were very close games. So I think that's just, the youth, we have to learn and be a little bit more experienced, but I think we have a lot to be proud of. And we did a lot this season that I don't think we even expected. So it was a fun year with great people, my sisters. I hope that we can all be back together again next season. But I think there's so much to be grateful for and so much to be proud of.
You mentioned doing things that you guys didn't even think you could do. Is there something specifically to you that impressed yourself of the ability that you have?
I think when we played the Aces the first time, we lost that game, but it was we lost by 3 at a buzzer beater 3 or something like that. But we had like key players, like Slim was out that game. Kira wasn't back with us. We had a bunch of injuries, so it's a bunch of rookies and Steph, and we were able to play the Aces, who have 4 Olympians and have won championships. And to be close in that game, I feel like that was the moment. At least Sonia and I have talked about it. That was the moment that we were like, okay, we can play at this level. It's not easy, but we're capable of doing it. So I think that moment for us as a team, and we beat Atlanta our first game, like we were like, okay, you know what? Like it's gonna be tough, but we're very, very capable. And I feel like that's when the belief and the confidence in each other really started to take form.
Oh, go ahead, Wes.
Oh, thank you. First of all, congratulations on your rookie season, Kiki.
Yeah.
Kind of piggybacking off Tyler, what he's saying, when you think about lessons learned from this year, obviously you had to deal with some challenging matchups down in the post, but you continue to take it in stride. What is one of the most valuable things that you've learned about yourself throughout this entire process of your rookie season?
I think this season was all about being resilient. There's some matchups that maybe aren't favorable for yourself, or a game that you didn't really like how you performed, but you play in 48 hours. So I think just pushing through adversity, pushing through, we had a lot of changes on our team and having to still show up every single day. I think that was the real, you're a professional. This is real life. This is a job. Everybody does this at their job. So really just staying professional through everything. But truly, I think the resilient part is like, I think in college it's easy to be hung up on a loss or hung up on a bad performance and let it derail you and like you're sad all day. But here it's like you kind of have to move on, move to the next game, and it's the best league in the world. So some nights it doesn't matter if the team is quote unquote supposed to be a bad team. Everybody's great at this level. So just being resilient, pushing through, and understanding that it's a marathon, not a sprint, I think is the biggest lesson I've learned.
Indeed, and in that marathon, obviously the amount of personal accolades and accomplishments that you've had this season, most people find that happening for a rookie if they're the only rookie on the team. But now you and Sony do that together as a tandem. What does that say about not only just your game, but Sony and organizationally to be able to have 2 rookies excel at such a high level in 1 year?
Again, I think it's the support that we get from our coaches, our teammates, front office staff, everybody. The women that have been on the team before, they were not like, your rookies, stay in this. They were like, go play basketball, have fun, do what you're good at. So I think just the support has allowed Sony and I, like, again, early on we were very nervous, but everyone's like, no, you're capable of doing this. And then having each other, Sonia's been great for me. And when I'm feeling a certain type of way, she's got my back, and vice versa, I have her back. So it's been great to be on this journey together. And again, I just think we're in the right environment. And I feel like the environment that you're around really has an impact on kind of how you can flourish and succeed.
Last question for me. As you go home for this off season, first thing you're going to do when you touch down back home?
I'm gonna eat my mom's food.
Is there a particular dish?
I love jollof rice. Just anything my mom cooks, I'll eat, but Nigerian food for sure.
Shout out to moms. Thank you, Keith.
Hey, Kiki. Again, congratulations. I think this is a true testament from day one when you were drafted into coming into now. You mentioned in the off season that you will be playing basketball. Has Unrivaled reached out to you just yet?
They have, yeah.
Okay, so we can expect you in an Unrivaled jersey, possibly.
I don't know, but possibility.
Sounds good. And then, again, just as everybody else has mentioned, obviously you were a standout in college, but we've really seen you step into your own in this league. You've kind of put the league on notice. So when do you think, obviously it was a lot of games, but when do you think it finally started to click for you that like you're really about to put the league on notice?
I think it was the approach that I had coming in. I my senior year was tough, and I think in terms of how I felt mentally and my confidence, it was honestly on the floor. So I looked at being with the Mystics as a new opportunity. I didn't know in what capacity that would be like, but I knew I wanted to come in training camp and really work my ass off and force my coaches to be like, okay, we have to use Kiki. I didn't know it was going to be in this way, but I think the mindset that I had coming into training camp and kind of just saying that I have an opportunity to define how I want to show up in the WNBA. So rather than having someone define that for me, I want to do that myself. So I think from that moment on, and then my coach is putting me on the matchups. Like I had BG my first game and having me guard the best players in the world. I was like, okay, they see something in me. And from there, it kind of kickstarted something within me. But I would say again, when we played the Aces, it was like, okay, capable of playing here. There's still a lot of work to do, but you're meant to be here.
That's it for me.
Hey, Kiki. You touched on a little bit about resilience, but I think you had like 20 total losses in your college career around there, and then 28 this year. So what did the journey look like for you in terms of like giving yourself grace and losses and trying to have fun playing basketball and like avoiding burnout when you are losing a lot of games?
It's tough. I think that's the biggest thing coming in as a rookie, especially coming from programs where you win a lot. But I think it's just a shift in perspective. We're kind of going through these growing pains now so that in the next 2, 3 years, we can be holding up that trophy. So I think just shifting into the perspective and our losses, I looked at it as something like, what could I learn from this? What could I learn tonight rather than we sucked and they scored more than us? So I think it was just a shift in perspective. And then again, going through it with all these other rookies who have played at the highest level, they've won a lot of games. So we're kind of going through it together. And I'd say our vets as well. They're the ones that really imprinted that this is the best league in the world. Anyone can win or lose on any given night, and that you have to kind of have the memory of a goldfish because you play again in the next 48 hours. So I think it took time. The first couple ones, it was like, ouch. But it took time. And I think it's just understanding that we're in the process of building something and it takes time.
And then, you talked about what you want to develop on the court, like three-point shooting. I'm curious in terms of leadership. I'm sure there'll be a little bit more expected of you next year.
Definitely.
What do you think your growth is going to look like in, kind of that realm? What do you think you could bring next year?
Definitely. I would like to say I'm an emotional player, but I like to use it for good, and kind of get my teammates like fired up and rallied up. But I think for me, it's not being so reactive to certain things. So just being more consistent, whether I think being more like Sony, whether it's high or low, Sony's just like this. And obviously I'm going to be my own person, but just understanding if I'm going to eventually become a leader of this team, I have to be consistent and kind of lead by example, regardless of what's going on. So I think that's another area of growth for me. And it's great because I don't have to do it alone either. Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, Joe? How are
Hey.
you? Thanks for taking out the time. I know things just kind of wrapped up last night,
Yeah.
but we're gonna try to ask big picture questions about the entire season. Just for you kind of personally, how do you kind of look back on your growth from the year? You got a full year in starting, one of your best seasons all around, certainly shooting and things like that. Kind of how did your growth kind of evolve as you went through this year and what seemed to work so well kind of in this system, in this place?
I would say coming into this season, I didn't know what to expect. We had new staff, new players, everything was just new all around. And I think that first conversation I had with Coach Johnson, he wanted me to come in and, be the point guard, be the leader of the team, but also be able to run the team and use my voice a little bit more. And I think that's where my growth came in this whole season is I've always been a point guard, leading by example, doing the right things and, trying to do those things. But I think throughout the season, one of the biggest things that I wanted to grow into was my voice. And I think I did that pretty well. Still some work to do, but it was a lot of growth. Just being a starting point guard was hard. That was the first time that I was in that position, but I feel like I prepared for that throughout the time that I was in the WNBA before that, playing under certain players. So I prepared for it, but um, I would just say that that growth just came from, using my voice more, and then just allowing my game to kind of, expand in a way. I feel like I've showcased part of my game throughout the time that I was in the W playing for Phoenix, for example. But this season I wanted to kind of show a little bit more. I think by the numbers, I did shoot the ball better than I previously have throughout my career. So I kind of wanted to showcase things of that sort. And I think, I did a pretty good job with that. And there was a lot of growth within that. So just being able to showcase my game a little bit more as well. That was kind of something that I wanted to do this season too.
Is there a sense of, I don't know, pride or satisfaction in being able to show more than maybe you had previously and to kind of have it come together? And what was it about this year where you think it kind of clicked a little bit? I don't know if that's just being another year older in the league or something about this system that fit you well, but what do you think kind of enabled you to kind of put it all together in the way that you did and take that next step?
Yeah, I think it was just the opportunity that was given to me just to come in, and the confidence that the coaches had in me from the beginning. I think that helped a lot, and that shaped everything for me, and what I wanted to bring this season. But most importantly, I think that the position that I was put in this season kind of allowed me to grow within my confidence and showcase those things, and having more opportunity, having more playing time, and having the opportunity to grow and think about certain things. When you're put in the fire, you have to figure it out, and I feel like throughout the season it was just I had to try to figure things out, whether that was individually or as a team. And I think that was part of my growth as well. Is I wasn't put in the fire in within my career. Like I feel like I was put in the fire a little bit, but I was prepared for it. And I was able to continue to grow within that. And I think it just came with the opportunity that was put in front of me from the beginning.
And one more for me, kind of looking ahead, obviously restricted free agent this offseason and a weird offseason for
Yeah.
everybody and all teams. I don't know if you guys have had conversations about your future yet. If so, could you share a little bit about that? And what do you kind of hope? Would you like to return and kind of be part of this kind of thing that they're starting to build?
Mhm.
How do you kind of start to envision your future?
Uh, I really haven't thought too much ahead to that. I'm just kind of taking in the moment of, season just ended yesterday. We're just still trying to process that and process the fact that we won't see each other every day for a few months until, off season. But um, I haven't really thought much of that yet. So
Do you have any off-season plans to play this year?
not really. Not sure yet. I'll just be here in the off season, which I'm really excited about that. So we'll see.
Throughout this year, you and I have talked about how one of your goals from a year ago from today was showing how you can be a scoring guard and add that element to your game. Do you feel like you were able to be successful with that this year, at least to the reaches that you want to be able to?
Yeah, I think I had some good strides this season with showcasing that, and that was something that I wanted to do. I think I've showcased certain things, when I was with Phoenix, and I wanted to just continue that, and continue to gain confidence within myself throughout the season. I think I got that, and I was able to have a bit success with trying to showcase everything.
You kind of answered it with Kareem's question a little bit, but with you being a leader of a young group and you being, I don't want to say thrust in this position, but being put in it in a different way, did you learn anything about yourself that you're going to be able to take away from this experience this year?
I would say just how resilient I am. Like I knew, just certain things that I went through within the W, trying to stay in the W, things like that. But as far as like being on the court, being in that fire, being a starting point guard, I would say like the resiliency mentally, of, throughout this whole season, it was like me fighting that battle, like, am I capable of doing this? And I got that clarity of that last game yesterday of I can do it. I did it. And I think fighting that mental battle, that was something I grew into. And I think that just came with, being in that fire and being able to figure out certain things just by being in that position. And I think that's going to take me a long way, and it's going to help my career in the long run.
Sure. Last one for me. Under your tutelage, under your guidance as a point guard, you had multiple records being broken by multiple teammates. What does that say about your leadership on the court?
I mean, that just says we have great players, but um, I mean, we continue to pour into each other every single day. Not just me, but everybody on this team. We cheer for each other. We're excited about everybody's success, and I think that made it easier for players to go out and play confidently and play to the best of their ability, because we continue to pour into each other and have confidence in each other. And we have really great players on our team. We're really young, but have great players, so records are going to be broken. A lot of success is going to happen, so we just try to stay within each other and pour into each other and continue to cheer each other on. Thank you.
One last question, sorry. Is it good? You mentioned your leadership skills. Any skills that you plan on working on in the off season, not only, from the leadership perspective, but from the player perspective?
I just want to continue to showcase my skill, scoring, passing. I think that can go to another level. And I think that I'm capable of that, and I want to be one of the best point guards in this league. So I think just continuing to work on my game, and I think that's one of the biggest focus in this offseason is focusing on the scoring aspect of the offense aspect, but also pouring into my defense too. That's going to allow me to continue to grow as a point guard in this league. Thank you.
Second. Ooh, I can go. I'm sorry. I was just getting that. Hey, what's up, Kira? How are you?
Good.
Um, we always kind of get to this point and we ask you guys to think big picture, even though you just got off the court last night, but gonna ask you to do it again. When you look back at the entirety of this season, finally kind of getting healthy and taking a while to kind of get your feet wet at the beginning, how do you kind of, when you look back and think about just the evolution of this season for you personally, the growth, the journey, all of that stuff, how do you kind of look back and evaluate your year?
I'm just proud of how resilient I was. Excuse me, I'm been fighting sickness for about a week, so but yeah, just how resilient I've been with different tests. I think I was finally able to kind of necessarily, I guess I would say, like, put the injuries aside from concussions. Um but I was finally able to kind of just focus on just being out there in a sense. Um, and I think I just continue to pour into myself, no matter what the battle was that God was still trying to teach me. Um, I think I've just learned a lot when it comes to leadership, when it comes to just showing up every day and kind of what that's supposed to look like. Um, yeah.
When you were here before with the old regime and now, new coaches and teammates, new
Mhm.
everything. As you look at the kind of transition from the team, how do you think you guys kind of stepped into this first year of this kind of new game plan, new path, as far as, both coaching, new teammates, how everybody was able to kind of come together, the challenges of all of that, just kind of this has been the first step of that new kind of journey for the organization from someone who's been there both before and after. How did that kind of come together?
I think they just created a pressure-free environment. I think it started with coach and the front office with kind of just giving everybody grace and allowing people to kind of, in a sense, do what they felt was natural. They didn't have much of a like guidelines or structure or when it comes to like, oh, you can't do that, or this isn't what we want to see. It was more so playing together, figuring out how to just get better every day and just playing with joy. That was just something they just continue to repeat, that wins and losses don't matter. That we, are thinking bigger picture. And we just want to, kind of release the pressure of like, say for instance, trying to make playoffs or, just trying to get a win. Because having such a young core and having rookies come in to have to play such a big role, having me coming off trying to play my first healthy season, it just allowed us to kind of just focus on just getting better every day, whether that was in practice or just in the game and figuring that out. So.
Um, Got to kind of ask about the future a little bit. Obviously, restricted free agent coming up.
Mm.
Two-parter. I don't know if you guys have had much conversations about it yet. Jamila kind of said a couple of weeks ago that she definitely kind of definitely sees you as part of this core moving forward. So I don't know if you guys have started those contract talks. How do you kind of feel about it? Are you excited to kind of come back here? Are you looking forward to that? And also in this weird off season where so many people are unrestricted free agents and the way the CBA is, how do you kind of see your off-season role? Do you see yourself as someone who comes out and is kind of recruiting toward the organization, or do you just kind of sit back and let everything fall into the way it falls out? How do you kind of look at this particular off-season um, in that stance?
For me, my off season just starts with creating my plan of getting better. I haven't talked about what, next year could look like yet. Obviously there's been a few discussions of, you're a part of this, franchise. And I'm still here at the end of the season, so clearly I'm valued in a sense. But I think my approach is just, like I said, to get better, continue to figure out, playing with Unrivaled, and just continue to figure out how I can get better every single day. Um, yeah, I don't really know what the future looks like. I love DC. I love, this is my home. This is where I got drafted. This is where, the first team believed in me. So I'm excited. I know that their future is going to be amazing. They have a great rookies. They have great just team in general, just full of life and full of just joy. But I just have no idea what the next couple months will look like. Um, if we make that decision faster or sooner, I'm definitely going to be recruiting as much as I can. I want to play with great people. Um, I want to play with people that have also won, um, and just helping to, put us in the best situation possible. And I think there's just, everything will just kind of be shown in, how the front office handles things. And um, I think regardless, like I'm just super blessed to be here, and I've appreciated so much that the Mystics have done, and I want to win with them. And we'll just see what the future holds. Yeah, I'll be unrivaled year two, and possibly another job after. I definitely want to play 5-on-5, I think, before the season starts. I think Unrivaled is great in a sense, but for me, I just want to maximize this off season as much as possible so that I can come in feeling just sharp. Yeah.
Kira, you mentioned you want to have that growth, and now you being healthy, and that was just such a whole focus of the season.
hmm
What's that next step in your growth, whether it's on-court skills or your internal growth? What are you looking to get out of this offseason?
Um, just continue with my plan of, training last year. I think that was my first off season of being healthy and figuring out what it looks like to build my strength, build my conditioning. I really had a dedicated routine. I really didn't get to see my family much, even though I was in the States. I just wanted to be consistent, and I really wanted this year to be really special. Um, and I think now that I've seen, I mean, I just was going over some of, my strength results from testing and, just things like that. And it's continuing to head in a upwards direction. And I mean, I've showed things that are better than year one, came in as a rookie. So just knowing that my body is prepared and trusting that, I'll be healthy. Now I can focus on just getting better in all sense. I mean, I wasn't proud, honestly, of my season this year. Um, I just have super high expectations for myself. It was really hard to get a flow and just be aggressive and efficient, and figuring out how to also get my teammates involved with, obviously we have PGs, but just figuring out how I can make everybody else better. There's just so much I want to work on, and just get better at so that I can continue to be dependable in a sense. I think this year I showed that from a health standpoint, but I need to be able to show it offensively and defensively. And I think personally, like my defense needs to get a lot sharper. I think I'm great with, weak side and, possibly going for, the shot blocking plays, but I think my one-on-one defense needs to get better so that I could be the anchor. And I just want that to be a standard that I'm held to. I'm hoping that, with our talks in the next couple weeks that, we can kind of figure out what that'll look like. I think this year I could have been held to a higher standard. I think I could have been pushed a little bit more, and I just want, my off season to kind of align with that, with just getting the most out of every day, focusing on my nutrition, focusing on my sleep and my recovery, and just building my confidence up to be the player I know I can be.
And then it almost felt like this year you were beginning to transition a little bit into being a veteran, especially with this roster being so
Mm.
young. And I know that's not something you necessarily want to choose to be a veteran,
Yeah.
but what does being a vet look like to you? Or what do you want to be
Hmm.
a veteran for other players, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Um, I could say I know the vet that I would want maybe isn't what everyone else wants. Like, I want a vet who's gonna hold me accountable. I want a vet who is gonna show what it looks like every day. I want a vet that isn't afraid to get on my ass, say the things that need to be said, speak up, but also show it on the court. I think a vet is supposed to bring energy. Um, Personally, I think I like just someone with fire and passion. But I don't think everybody responds the same. And I think that's what I've learned with leadership is that, you have to figure out how to reach everybody and on the level that they're at. And that could be with spending more one-on-one time and talking to someone, on the sidelines. It could be, talking at breakfast, just, having a less pressure environment. Or you could also have like a player like me who needs to be pushed in a certain way, who needs to know that you care and that, you have passion and shows that energy on the court. So I think this year just encompassed everything of, there's different leaders, there's different roles. And, the oldest player doesn't make the best leader and the best player doesn't make the best leader. So it's just about figuring out what you can bring, that the team needs and just being consistent in that.
Hey, Shakira, first of all, thanks for talking to us. I know you're not feeling well, so thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
hmm Last week, actually, Tyler asked you on pregame about one word to surmise your season. You said transitioning, which we brought up again today. You've talked about room for improvement, things that you want to change for next year, but what's a pride point for you where you did have the transition in a positive role
Mm.
in your life and your season, whether it's personally or on the court, that you can really take pride in this year?
Um, that's tough. I look at things so negatively.
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah. Like nothing. um, but I mean, I think I'll just go back to just being resilient. Um, the season didn't start the way I wanted to. I came in with, some tendonitis, leading on, I think, from the different type of game Unrivaled brung. And that just was not how I wanted to start it. Like I wanted to, really make an impact this season. I really wanted to show the rookies, what it looks like to go out there and play on both ends. Um, and I mean, first game back got ejected. Like just looking back at everything that I've been through, that you guys have seen, but just things that I've dealt with personally on my own. Um, like I said, I've been tested in ways like I didn't think I was prepared for. But I showed up every time. I showed up for my team. And I just continue to figure out how to look at things from a better perspective. There is so much that I could have got lost and kind of, drowned in a sense. But, I just continue to lean on the people that I know will guide me in the right direction. I don't have people in my circle that are biased towards what I think I should be. I have people that tell me the reality. And, every time they just would kind of just show appreciation that I'm, still looking at it in such a positive way. And I just appreciate myself for that. Um, I don't think if this was any other year, I would have handled things the same. But I think I just really wanted to be on the floor so much this year. And I wanted to just show that I'm healthy, show that I can produce, show that I'm building towards who I want to be. And as much as, my talk is very high, and a lot of people don't understand it, I just know where I'm trying to go. And I just want to continue to work and have that belief in myself. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of making it through a season. I finished the last game, you know, on the court where it was my first major injury. So it was a really big full circle moment for me. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for next season. I think it's going to be way bigger than this one. I'm excited for DC. I think we're headed in the right direction and just ready to get to work.
Thank you, Shakira.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, y'all.
Feel better.
Hey.
Thanks for taking that time. We definitely appreciate it. Um, things just wrapped up, but as you kind of look back on year one, the ups and downs and the growth and all that kind of stuff, kind of what stands out to you and when you kind of look back at this year, how are you going to think about your original rookie year, both, from your personal growth and kind of fitting in with the squad as a whole?
Yeah, I think the thing I'll remember most is just how close of a team we were, how we all were really good friends on and off the court. I think that's really special. And even though we didn't win as many games as we would like, it's a great foundation and it was still fun. So that's hard to come by on any level of basketball. And the fact that at the highest level, we're all really good friends will just help us succeed more and more.
For yourself, kind of what did you learn about your own game? What worked, what didn't work in the league, and kind of your focus moving forward of, okay, hey, I've made it through a whole one. Now I can maybe, start specifying some other games that you want to, or not games, but other areas that you want to kind of grow in.
Mhm. Yeah, I think one difference of the league compared to college or high school is how fast people make adjustments. So I think in game, like you're good at one thing and then they take that away. So you got to adjust to another thing, or just as a group, like the pick and roll schemes, teams adjust quicker than in college for sure. So just being able to adjust on top of what the other team is doing, I think that's something I've learned and I can grow on more and more throughout. this experience.
Any specific facet of your game, like I don't know, defensive minded, or anything very technical that you're like, hey, I want to work on X.
That's a good question. I think this season was a lot of getting comfortable playing against new players and new schemes, like I said. So yeah, definitely working on the physicality of it. I don't know. Yeah, just getting used to playing against different people. Like it's a little faster, people are a little stronger, but it's still basketball. So I think a lot of it was just slowing my mind down, and the rest of it will come. But yeah, I think just getting smarter, like the IQ of the basketball.
And one last thing from me, just kind of as we look at this off season, how do you kind of envision spending it? You know, it's actually also a weird off season with like the CBA and how many people are free agents and things like that. But we know that, this rookie class is part of the core moving forward. Do you feel like you kind of go out and sell the Mystics? Do you feel like a recruiter? Do you just want to get away from the game and relax because you've been playing a lot of ball? How do you kind of envision your off season in that way?
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to play in Australia, so I'll have 2 weeks to chill a little bit, and then to the next season I'll go. But I think it'll be nice because I didn't get as much playing time this season, but being able to go and play, learn from new coaches, a new team, find a new role, just getting adjusted to things quicker and being in that experience that makes you uncomfortable will always help you grow. So I'm just excited for that.
Are you playing with Jade, or are you going to be against
I'm
Jade?
not playing with Jade, unfortunately, but I will play her 4 times. So we only play one team 4 times, and it's her. So I'll see her. I'll see her a lot.
Has this season changed your perspective at all of what Lucy Olsen, the basketball player, can be and how the rest of your career can kind of take shape?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think throughout my career, I've always thought of what I can do today to just be better for the next few days. You can't control everything. So you always want to have the confidence and believe that you can make it and be the best because that'll help you get there. But when I had the dream of being a WNBA player, I had the dream, but who knew if it was possible? So I feel like once I got here, it was like, wow, I actually did that. Anything's possible. So I think just taking it one day at a time and knowing that I've made it this far. So the sky's the limit. Just keep working. And if you try your best every day, then yeah, then you'll make it as far as you can.
This season, Sydney is focused on, he wanted to say top to bottom, the whole roster, focus on development and everyone get better as the year goes on. How much did you feel that investment from this coaching staff in making sure that they were helping you check off your goals as you move forward?
Yeah, I think back to just getting comfortable with this new speed and the physicality. I think the breakdown drills that we did or the IQ, I think I've definitely improved a lot there.
Lucy, when you think about this season as you're about to head on a really long flight down to Australia, is there a particular moment, game, or play that you're going to kind of take away from this season as something that you want to continue to have as a part of your game moving forward?
It's a good question too. The season feels so long and so short at the same time, like all the games blend together, but I would say every game there's a little bit that I'll take away from. I wouldn't say there's a specific moment exactly, but I think when I got the opportunity to play against the Aces when we had a few people hurt, that was a big moment in my career, just being like, okay, you're here, you have an opportunity, you made the most of it. Like you're playing against really great players and you still helped make an impact. So I think just keeping in mind those little moments like that. Um, Obviously learn from the negatives, but take the positives and go from there.
Indeed. And last question for me, when you talk about playing time and the opportunities given, obviously with the most competitive league on the planet, there's not a lot of minutes to go around, especially for rookies. But with the time that you were given on the court, how invaluable was it as far as the growth and development of your game?
Yeah, no, experience is is important, and minutes are the only thing that can really get you that experience on the court. So that's out of my control. But when I do get in the game, just trying to make the most of it, do whatever my team needs me to do to help us win. I wish I could hit every single shot, but even if I'm not hitting every shot, just trying to play defense, get us extra possessions, rebound. Yeah, but minutes help. It makes you feel more comfortable as you go, and then the game slows down, and then the rest of the basketball comes a lot easier. So.
Hey, Lucy, I'm just curious, going and playing in the WNBL, what are you most looking forward to, both on the court and then maybe some of the nerves off the court of living in a different country? Like, what do you think that's going to look like for you?
Yeah, I'm excited to play in Australia with this team because I'm going to be a point guard again, which I've been a point guard my whole life. So playing the shooting guard this year was a little different and a lot of adjusting. So I'm excited to get back to that. And yeah, I think knowing Jade and Georgia, both from Australia, they're great people. So I'm not as nervous knowing them. They say everything awesome about Australia. I'm sure it's not all true. There's got to be some things that aren't great, but they were hyping it up. So, yeah, no, I'm just super excited for a new experience, new team. Luckily, they speak English as well, so that won't be as hard to communicate with them. And hopefully, I'll get a little bit of an accent while I'm down there. That would be fun. But yeah, no, I'm excited.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Which team?
Okay, cool. Hey, how are you, Steph?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit longer, doing it one more time with us.
Of course, yes.
Appreciate it. I keep saying this to everybody. Season just got done last night, but when you kind of look back at the whole thing, the adjustments of new people, new staff, new scheme, all of it kind of come together. When you look back and kind of look at this season as a whole and evaluate how it all kind of shook out, what stands out to you? What do you kind of think about both how the team evolved and also your role within it?
Um, I mean, I think just like holistically, I think um, all we asked from everyone was like competing all the time. We obviously knew it was new staff, new management, essentially a new team, like a lot of new players. So we knew it was going to be a lot of growing pains and a lot of ups and downs. Um, and I think like overall, I think everyone was just really adaptable. Everyone really ran with the punches. Um, I think we grew together. Everyone grew individually. Me, I grew as a leader, something I wasn't necessarily expecting or ready for, but I think I tried to do it as best as I could. Sometimes I didn't know what to say, but I tried my best to say something and to encourage everyone. So I think just overall, it's a season that we can look back at and be happy with and be proud of ourselves for. Because I think we did a lot of really, really great things.
As you looked, I know there were some early challenges for you, just kind of getting into this game and the new way that they wanted to play and how they were using you in different areas and places on the floor. Did you eventually feel like you kind of got to a space where you were comfortable and it felt like it was clicking and just kind of your own game? And how did you kind of look at that? Because I know there were some challenging times, particularly kind of early in the year.
Yeah, well, from the jump, my body was not the best in the beginning, so I think that was a big reason why also playing wasn't my best. And then to be honest with you, I think having less post players helped. I think everyone as a player knows like the more you play, the easier it is to get into a rhythm, right? Like in the beginning, the first half of the season, it was a lot of in and out, right? In and out for 2 minutes, a minute here. Like it was tough. And it was something that we all knew what the situation was, but at the same time doesn't make it easier to kind of find that rhythm. So I think once I was able to just go out and play a little bit more freely and more minutes on the court, like ultimately helped me individually. And then I think it also helped the whole team, just learn how to play with each other and um, kind of grow together.
and gotta ask, looking forward, obviously weird off season with CBA still not signed yet, and so many people becoming unrestricted free agents, including yourself. When you kind of look ahead at your future, have you kind of envisioned what you want that to look like, whether it's here or elsewhere? What kind of things are you looking for in your next stop in 2026 as you kind of what are we on going to be year 13?
Yeah.
Is that right? So for year 13, how do you kind of envision it as you
Vomit.
hit this stage of your career
I know.
and hitting unrestricted free agency one more time?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't have a lot of answers for that question just because one, I'm not a big planner. I like things to just happen. I'm pretty go with the flow, but yeah, this offseason is gonna be crazy, honestly, with a lot of free agents, like you said, the CBA, everything. So not much for me in terms of knowing what the next step is. I do think that, like you said, going into year 13, like this is probably like a transition period for me in terms of this season wasn't what I was expecting, but I think it's what I needed in terms of learning how to transition into the next part of my career, which could be more of being a vet, being the leader, obviously playing time going down, which is fine with me in terms of my age and my body, if that's what a team needs for me. So I think for me, it's just going to be making sure my body's right, healthy, all that stuff this off season. That's what I'm going to focus on. And then everything else will come when it needs to. From a team?
Whatever that team may be, I don't know if it, hey, I want a team that's very actively, this team is still young in a rebuild. I don't know if you're looking for someone that's like, hey, I want us to be in a playoff contention mindset or anything
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think I could easily play on a team that's also still rebuilding and be that vet leadership. But of course, I want to be competitive and I want to still win a championship. Like, I would love to still win another championship, but that doesn't mean that a team like this or other places who are in a rebuilding or young team doesn't mean that they can't compete. I see it kind of like an OKC type of thing where they're so young, but they grow together. And, if I can be a part of that and still by the end of it win a championship, I'd be happy. So I don't know the answer, to be honest with you. But we shall see.
Steph, I know you played in Unrivaled last year. Do you have any off-season plans to play in that league or another league again?
Yep, potentially. Not in another league. It would be either that or nothing. So we'll see. It's up in the air right now. Depending on, I mean, there's a lot of things up in the air, but again, my body is my most important thing right now for me. So if playing is good for me, great. If it's not, then I won't be. I'll just work on training, again, making sure my body's healthy, and preparing for next season.
You've won championships before, multiple different leagues. What was so critical for the team this year to accomplish that you felt like they accomplished in setting forth on that path?
I think just like setting the foundation of like belief. And as much as I don't like the like vulnerable, the emotional stuff, like I think they did a lot of that this season, which is a good foundation though to grow on, right? Like if you start with just like X's and O's and this and that and um do this and do that, it's like sometimes it's harder to build that like those relationships. I think this season we started with the foundation of building relationships and setting the standards of like what we want to do going forward. And I think that was really important for this team for the longevity of it, and we did it. So I think we can all be really proud of that.
I want to ask you about Kiki. She just had such a phenomenal year, breaking records, team records, league records, moving up. What has impressed you about her demeanor and how she holds herself, and then that also translating to her skills on the court?
Yeah, I mean, just her professionalism and like maturity. I think for someone like me, I sometimes worry with the young ones this generation. It can be a lot about social media and the extra stuff, not just about basketball. And I feel like she embodied coming here and just caring about playing really hard, getting better every day, competing every day. Like we saw it from the first day of training camp. So I think she just held herself to a really high standard. Um, and it was like just a pleasure to play with her and to teach her a little bit and to see how she grew and everything, just because she's such a great human. And she just, like I said, she just cared about basketball, which is great.
My last one, I just want to ask about not the CBA specifically, but where the league is going. As you mentioned, you've been in the league for a while. You played in several different markets, some big teams in this league. You've won championships before. Where do you want to see this league go to with this new collective bargaining agreement?
Um, it's a great question. I don't know. I think just like the continuation of growing, like we can never stop getting better or learning or whatever, like individually as people. So I think the league can do the same. Obviously it starts with us getting paid and with the CBA negotiations happening this season. Um, and once I think we feel that support from the league, it'll be even easier to go out there and produce even better basketball, and the fans will be more excited. And again, with these new exciting players coming in, like just the growth of the league just continuing to go up and not, hopefully getting stagnant or anything like that. Like just everyone continuing to invest and adding to it, and not getting like complacent with like, oh, okay, we've grown and we can just stay here. It's like, no, we want to keep growing. We want to keep making this league better, and making more people watch and excited about women's basketball.
Steph, thank you for taking the time.
Mhm.
Kind of piggybacking on the growth, development, leadership, all in this one question. You talk about this generation of players.
Mhm.
What about this class of athletes that you've been having on your team reminds you of you in your earlier part of your career, especially with all the accomplishments, because you've won at every level? And what did those memories do as far as animating you in your transition and growth this year?
Jesus, that was a lot of
Sorry.
a lot of words in that question.
There's a lot of complicated questions.
You're lucky I'm not hungover.
I'm here for pressure.
I really wouldn't have been able to keep up with that one. Okay, let me start with the first part. I think like all of them, like all the rookies on our team this year, as I spoke about with Kiki, like Sonia, Lucy, Georgia, like they just embodied caring about basketball and like really pouring into each other and the teammates. And I think that, like you said, reminds me of me, just because like coming into the league, I was the same. I didn't matter how many minutes I played. I was just happy to be here, proud of myself for being here. And I think a lot of our rookies felt that and showed that. Lucy's in the gym every day, practicing shooting. Georgia, as awful as it is what happened, like she would be on the sideline every practice, speaking up every practice, like always had something to say in a good way. Um, and just encouraging and everything. And just like Sony and Kiki coming in and just competing every day and doing exactly what they know they're good at. And um, yeah, I think that I wouldn't say it reminded me of me, because they came in with a lot more confidence than I did, that's for sure. Um, and were way more impactful. But it was just fun to see them grow, like as someone who has been here for a long time, watching them get better and grow and be excited to come to practice and everything like that is special to me and excited and makes me want to come to practice more too when you're around people like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Did I answer every part of that question?
Yes, you did. You finished it right there at the end. I was with you.
Hey, Steph. I also have a question about Kiki, just because you're the resident veteran post player. She talked about wanting to become a three-point shooter. That's a journey that you went through. You shot 3 threes in your first year. Obviously, I acknowledge that a lot of that growth is opportunity and having a coaching staff that believes in you. But there's so many bigs in every level of basketball that want to become shooters and fail. So, what worked for you that let you become a shooter going from your first season to your second season, and then, so forth in your career?
Yeah. To be honest, I don't know. I've always had confidence in my shot though. Like even in college, I like to shoot threes. Not many, but I liked them. But I don't know. I guess just like having, yeah, teammates and coaches that just believe in you, and like knowing that if it's the right shot, that whether it goes in or not, like no one's gonna be mad or upset about it, right? And so I think putting that belief in her will help, in this off season especially, and then obviously just practicing. Like I went last season shooting as many as I did and making as many as I did because the off season before I worked nonstop on my shot, and like pushed myself outside my comfort zone to work on things that I'd probably never do in a game, but made me more comfortable to take the easy shot. So I think for her, it's just going to be about pushing herself to take those uncomfortable shots and continuing to work on it. And yeah, and then we'll all believe in her when I see her make a few.
And slide one more in.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, you kind of mentioned earlier about kind of how the team was able to kind of set the foundation for habits and things kind of moving forward. But I
Mhm.
just wanted to ask about the staff in general. You were under the old staff, you've seen other staffs across the league. What were your impressions from them as a group, as Sydney and everyone as a group in year one?
I thought they did great. I mean, I think, like I said before, this was a lot of newness for everyone, including the coaches. So I think, they had to learn how to coach together and how to figure things out together. Um, Sydney put a lot of faith in his assistant coaches too, which is not always the case. Sometimes there's staffs where the head coach does everything, and sometimes there's staffs where the assistants do everything. Or it's just equal across the board. So I think they did a really good job of being like stepping up at different times. But it was just so clear, concise. We knew what we were doing on offense. We knew what we were doing on defense. And then Sid just poured into us. Like there was not a day where I didn't feel like he cared about every one of us. And that's also really special because there's also a lot of head coaches that don't do that. So I've had the good and the bad with coaches, and he's definitely great. So it was a pleasure for me to be on the team and for the staff just in general. So yeah, yep. Thanks, guys.
Who's your agent?
What
Agent?
Lindsay?
Lindsay.
It's so hard to get up.
Yeah.
That's what I'll be working on this off season. No aging. I'm gonna go anti-aging. Next year I look like a whole new person.
Thanks, Steph.
See?
Hi guys.
What's up, baby?
Hey, hey.
How you guys doing?
Yep, yep, yep. Hey, hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Weird season a little bit, especially the way it ended, moving around a little bit. When you kind of look back and think about your 2025, what's going to stand out to you, and what do you kind of see as kind of, I guess, building blocks to kind of, all right, now I can, this is done. Now I can look at the future and kind of focus on what I want to do moving forward, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think looking back on it, I would say definitely the takeaways is this is an amazing organization, amazing group of girls, and from the top down, from the organization as a whole, they've been amazing and welcoming ever since I got here. I know it's hard to welcome someone in the middle of the season, and let alone a couple people, and they did an amazing job with it, especially having such a young group. So that was a pleasant surprise, and got to know them a little more obviously as the season went on. Not so much on the court, but that's soon to come hopefully. And they're great. They honestly want each other to do well, and they get excited when each other succeed. And I think that's something you want in a team, and it's something you want to be a part of. So for me, I'm just happy to be here. Looking forward to getting healthy now. That'll be the building blocks. And we have a lot of off-season plans, and I'm excited for those. And I think the girls are too. So that'll be looking forward. That's our goal coming ahead soon.
I probably should have started with this. How do you feel? How is the health coming along, and what kind of, I guess, stage do you feel you are in as far as kind of getting back to your being yourself? I know we've talked a lot of Sid about
Mhm.
you playing 3-on-3. I don't
Mhm.
know if you're closer to feeling like yourself and being able to do 5-on-5 stuff. Where are you kind of along that rehab journey?
Yeah, it's going well, and we're progressing really really well. Hopefully, progress soon to these next couple weeks coming up. But I think at this point, it's just listening to your body, which I've learned to be good at the past couple years. Definitely grown in that area, and I think at this level, it's important. And now going into the off season, it's just about being smart and obviously listening to how the body feels every day. And I'm someone who loves to get out there every day and get better. So it's been hard for sure, but the girls have made it easier. The training staff here has been absolutely amazing.
amazing organization has been behind all of us. So that makes everything a lot easier. But like you said, I'm just excited to get back out there soon.
And last one from me. You know, you kind of said, you know, we've got plans for this off season. Could you share a little bit of that? Where I don't know if you plan to kind of be here, or what those plans are, as much as you can share, and just also in the future, your kind of role within this organization. You know, you're still kind of under contract. Have you guys had conversations about, hey, yeah, we see you as being part of these young building blocks that we're putting together moving forward? Have you guys had those kind of future conversations with the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. I think off season, me personally, I'll be going back from Ohio to DC back and forth. So I'll be around DC a lot. And I think a lot of the girls will as well. And that's kind of something we're excited about, just to continue to build our chemistry as a group, as a young group, like you mentioned. And I think we've honestly had those conversations as a team, and it's exciting. And it's also really great that we can be so open with each other and discuss, obviously, the future of this team. So I think looking ahead, we're excited to move ahead with this young group. And we also have some really great veteran leaders too. You just talked to one, and they've made a huge difference on this team. And for us, and for me too as well, been, you know, people to look up to, have been in this league a long time. But like I said, just continuing to build the chemistry with one another. We have a lot of new pieces, and I think that'll be the focus moving into this offseason. Thanks.
Hey, JC.
Hey.
I don't know if your ankle plays a part of it at all, but do you have any off-season league plans playing anywhere? And
Yeah, I'm actually should be healthy by here, hopefully. January I'm playing, I think it starts mid-January, playing Athletes Unlimited. So that's in Nashville this year, couple week league, and I'm excited about it. This is my first time doing it, so looking forward to it.
I think Unlimited is a very unique type of experience. What are you trying to get out of that?
Just getting better. Obviously it's 5-on-5, so you're getting runs, you're getting up and down, and you got an opportunity to get better every day, which is something I'm excited about. But that doesn't start in January. That starts tomorrow. So and for me specifically, whenever I can get back out there and get healthy. But like I said, just an opportunity to, you know, better your game in all aspects, and play with some new people too, and get a feel for you know, the game again. So it'll be exciting.
You come in and I know you just want to integrate yourself with this group and just find out how things work, but then you get hurt your second game in. Do you feel like you've been able to leave a good impression to these coaches, whether it's in your ramp up or in your limited time you were out there, whatever it may be? But do you feel like you got a good chance to leave an impression?
Yeah, I hope so. But no, I do. They've been amazing. And like you mentioned, it's hard coming to a new place, and obviously getting hurt so early. But I've gotten to know them very well on and off the court, and had a lot of conversations with them, which is important as people and in players. And I think that's something that separates our coaching staff, and you know, the togetherness they bring, and that they show, and they, you know, just preach every day. And it really shows with this group. It showed right when I got here. You know, just how much fun they have, and how much fun they have with each other, and how the joy spreads, you know, beyond basketball. So that part's awesome. And like I said, just I think it's special when you get excited for each other when you do well, and you want each other to succeed out there as a team. So that was amazing coming in and seeing that, and like I mentioned before, them welcoming me in with open arms, and I'm appreciative of that. But I do want to get out there on the floor with them now. I think that's the goal now.
You might have just answered my next question.
Sorry.
It's fine. But I just want to ask just to make sure. You've been in 3 organizations now. What has stood out to you about this Mystics organization that maybe didn't expect or was refreshing to you?
Yeah, I when I came here, I told him I've been watching them from afar, and you know, you watch on court live action from afar. Obviously, you don't know what it's like, you know, in the locker room, and off the court. And I think for me, that was a pleasant surprise, just witnessing the togetherness, the culture they have, and the open communication that they share throughout the entire season, which is a lot of ups and downs. So I think that's special, and I think that's something that, you know, every organization strives for in this league. And being able to step in here and seeing that the first day I got here is pretty cool. And definitely credit to this organization. And like I said, they did an amazing job of welcoming the newcomers right off the bat, and just excited to continue to build those relationships and get to know everyone better.
Hi, JC.
Hey,
Thank
how
you.
are you?
I'm well. Thank you very much for asking. Kind of a cousin to Tyler's question. Again, through transitions, trades, et cetera, in your career and due to the injury, you've been remarkably positive. And I'm curious about where it comes from and how does it fuel you on a day-to-day basis?
It's a great question. Yeah, I've dealt with a lot of change throughout my career so far. And I would say my sister has made it a little easier for me. She's 17 now, which she's getting old, but she has Down syndrome and went through a lot at a very young age because of that, and was able to carry herself with so much joy and affect so many people still to this day. And I kind of grew up watching that, obviously grew up with her by my side and seeing this, and kind of changes your perspective of things. For me, especially, I think just looking at every opportunity as you get to, instead of, oh, I got traded, I have to go here. You get to do that. I think it totally changes how you look at life. And I would absolutely credit that to her. So it's made everything a little easier. And obviously coming into an organization like this also makes it a lot easier when they're so welcoming. But yeah, without her, I don't know what it would have looked like. So she's been my rock throughout my whole life, honestly. So, and she has no idea, but she's been the light for me.
Such a great answer. Kind of in that same venue, thinking about the short time that you've had in DC, you've already said that you really enjoy this city and the organization. Just kind of an open-ended question. What have you found in your short time here that you really kind of said, this is the kind of place that I want to be? And obviously, you could repeat an answer you've given before, but I just really want to pick your brain with that one.
Yeah, on or off like
Either one.
in general. I would say, well, getting hurt so early, I didn't get a lot of time to like explore. So that was a bummer, but we're right downtown and the city is beautiful. Obviously a lot going on, a lot of places to go. By the water is beautiful. So that was really cool to see. I hadn't really been here and explored before, so that was awesome. It's an amazing city. And then just how I mentioned this culture here and the girls and the togetherness. And I didn't mention the resilience either, which is huge. Everybody here is a competitor. We have fun and we love each other, but we compete. And I think that's what it's all about. So when you have both those things and still are able to, share that careness and love for each other, that's pretty cool. And excited now moving into the off season to hopefully be a part of that and step out there and compete with them, because that builds chemistry on and off the floor too. So that's been really cool to witness. Thanks, guys. Good to see you guys. Allison and Jackie disrupt meetings.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to see what's next. Right. There's pizza. You take a break. There's pizza, bun cake, water. Come on. We get a break, or is someone about to sneak in?
Yeah, is somebody about to come out?
No, Karen and I are communication. If there is, I will let you know.
Grab me.
My bad.
This one too, power down, please. Oh. I just went outside of this room. I gotta make sure. Bro, I can't start. It's so slow. You sit still.
she's in. Okay. She's in the waiting. Should we let her in? Here's like this. She's literally on Zoom. She's literally on Zoom. She had an appointment with her. There she is. Oh, okay. So then you need to unmute.
Hello?
There you go. We got you. All right. So do we do this also?
Yeah, she can hear the mics.
She can hear.
Here, let's spotlight Sony for a minute so that if people want to gather around the TV.
Talking to voices.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, can we? Okay. I'm gonna look from.
Like that camera. Look in this.
You want us to sit all the way up there for
Yeah.
each person's questions?
Yeah. See.
Alrighty. I know. That's that's the that's the part that's weird.
Give me that mic.
So,
This is what you have to deal with every day, Sonia.
oh, I do not like being on this end of this. This is
What's
not
up?
the way I. What's going on, Sony? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm really distracted at the moment. I can see myself. I'm not used to that. Thanks for taking out the time. Appreciate it. And I lost my pen. I guess kind of starting, appreciate you. Kind of overall, as you look back through the season, getting, your feet wet and all the accolades and everything. When you kind of look back and kind of evaluate your first year, what's going to stand out to you and a few things that you're just going to kind of remember about the journey and your growth over over the last 5 months over the summer.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm mostly gonna remember the people. They're the people in this organization, the team, the players, the coaching staff, the performance staff, everybody around this team is what made the season so memorable, and so special. So I think that's definitely the most important thing that I'm definitely gonna remember. But yeah, I mean, the season has been great. I have so much gratitude for how it all went down, just being able to play this season, being healthy, being able to play alongside my friends, people I love. It's been a blessing, and I'm extremely grateful for it all.
As you're not a rookie anymore, so as you kind of look into your second year and how you played in year one, are there things that you've already identified yet as, okay, during this off season, I want to work on X, Y, and Z, and or I know it's year one, so I'm sure you want to work on everything, but is there anything specific that you say, okay, I would like to come back in 2026 with this as part of my game?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely said it. I don't think there's not any part of my game that I'm satisfied with. So I really do want to get better at everything. But a few things I would say is just getting stronger, faster, be in better shape next year, um, work on ball handling, being comfortable with handling the ball under physicality. Um, Quicker release, working on mid-range game, just tools to help me get my shot off. Yeah, honestly, everything.
I was gonna say you haven't thought about that at all.
Yeah.
And one last one from me. Gonna be a weird off season across the league, with CBA stuff and so many people as unrestricted free agents. But you're one of the pillars of this team, this young core, kind of moving forward. How do you kind of approach that as kind of a member of the organization? I don't know if you feel like you kind of, some people like to go out there and recruit and say, hey, come to Washington and be part of this thing that we're putting together. As a young leader in this organization that will be going into year two of the transition, how do you kind of see your role as kind of, trying to help this thing be put together? Or how much input do you want to have on that also?
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea. This is my first off season. And like you said, unique one. So I really have no clue how everything's gonna go down or even what happens or how it happens. In terms of input, I mean, I'll have as much as the coaches and the GM and everybody wants me to have. But yeah, I mean, I honestly don't have an answer. I'm not really sure. I think I'm just gonna whatever happens, happens. I'm gonna go with the flow and see where that takes me. But yeah, I really have no like preconceived notions of what that's gonna look like because I have no clue.
Cool, cool. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Somebody else is up next. Have fun with this.
If I knew I was going to be on camera, I would have been a little bit more presentable. Hey, Sonia,
Hi.
just want to ask, do you have any off-season plans? Has Unrivaled reached out to you, or do you plan on playing any sort of leagues?
Yeah, Unrivaled has reached out. Um, so most likely that. But for right now, I'm just focusing on the next couple months and just really taking care of my body and resting. So.
Sydney, we've seen you be put on the ball more much in this last month of the season. And Sydney says he wants that to be a part of your development going forward and
Mhm.
getting you those opportunities. How has that process kind of gone for you and taking on that type of role this season?
Yeah, it's definitely been different. Something I'm not used to. I didn't really do it too much at Notre Dame, so I would say the last time I was really a ball dominant uh, guard was in high school, which is feels like forever ago, and it's just not the same. So it definitely took getting used to. I would say it's still, like you said, like Coach said, something that I really want to focus on in developing my game, just being comfortable, more comfortable with it, being able to create for myself, for others, and just ultimately be very comfortable handling the ball under all circumstances. That's definitely something I'm going to work on this season. But it was definitely a challenge. Um, yeah, it was a challenge, something that I'm happy happens because I got to learn from it, through it. Now I know what I need to work on. So kind of seeing the good in those challenges. But yeah,
You've said this year you've let the game just kind of come to you and just kind of come naturally and you make decisions out of that. But we also know as players become better with their craft, part of it is kind of dictating how games are played and how players react to it. Do you feel like there's a point coming soon where you need to start being a little bit more aggressive and kind of dictating what you want to do, whether it's on the offensive end or the defensive end with the skills that we know you possess?
yeah, absolutely. I think that's another part of my game that I want to get better at. Is just ultimately being more aggressive on both ends of the floor. Um, like you said, I'm very much a flow player, so my shots and all that come with the flow of the game. So sometimes that's a great thing. Sometimes it not so much if it's not going how we want to go. And I think that's where I kind of need to um, insert my aggression more so, which I think at times I definitely didn't do. So it's definitely something I want to work on.
In my last one, Kareem asked you what you're going to remember the most about your rookie year. What has surprised you the most about this experience of being in the WNBA?
Um, I'm really not. I think I came into the season having no expectations. I kind of said that before. I just wanted to embrace everything that was going to happen, the ups, the downs, all of it. So I wouldn't say I was really surprised with much because I didn't have any expectations to begin with. Um, but I would say one thing was being an all-star was definitely not anywhere on my list in my mind. Like that was certainly not something I would have thought would ever happen that year, and like being a rookie. So
Thank you, Sonia.
yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah. What is this TV thing we're doing here? Oh man, I'm not good on camera. Hey Sonia, how you doing? It's Wes here.
Good. How are you?
Two questions. First of all, talking about team chemistry, it is rare. The accolades have been given about your remarkable team chemistry here with the Mystics, as well as remarkable having two rookies that are all stars and all the individual records. My question to you is, how and what role did this rare occasion contribute to your individual successes this year in under the concept of team chemistry?
Yeah, I mean, I think it meant everything to me. I don't think I would have been able to do what I did without the people around me, without this team, without the coaches and everybody in this program. They kind of instilled a confidence and trust in us as rookies, which is surprising. But me and Kiki could really feel that all the rookies, me, Kiki, Lucy, Georgia, could feel that. They trusted us, and so we were able to kind of just go on the court and play free, which I think is the best way to play. Just play free, not being scared, not being nervous to make mistakes. And that was a product of them. Like they made that environment where we felt safe and seen. So I definitely wouldn't have been able to do what I did without them.
And a total left turn on this one. Your season is ended, but the NFL season has already begun. So, any plans for any, games down in Texas that might pop up on your schedule soon?
Absolutely. I will be there this Sunday when we play the Giants. One might think that that's a hard game for me, but absolutely not because it's go Cowboys all day.
That's all I needed. So, have a great
Yep.
off season. Yeah. She meant that. She meant that.
Hey, Sony.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I wanted to ask you real quick. I kind of asked Kiki the same question, but you had, I think, exactly 28 losses in your college career, and then you have 28 losses this year. So, what did the journey look like for you, kind of accepting losses as part of the journey and giving yourself grace and also just having fun playing basketball?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a challenge. Like you said, um, I'm not used to losing so much, but I think our coaches and vets did a great job of making us realize that it's the W and it's the hardest league in the world. So really just realizing that um I mean, you just have to learn through it, and if anything, it's going to make us a better team. It's going to make me a better player, learning through those losses. So just really realizing that and not letting ourselves get too high or too low, and just being consistent, not letting the score, wins, losses deter us from what we're trying to do. So.
Yeah. And then real quick, because you talked about some of the skills you want to work on, you didn't say deep threes. You shoot them, warm ups before every game. You got one the other night.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, when do you think we're gonna start seeing you look for them? Because I'm not even gonna give you the option to say you're not going to. So when do we think we're gonna see that?
That's definitely something you can add. I forgot to mention that, but range, yes, absolutely, will be working on that this off season.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Christy, all you.
Oh, perfect. Hey, Sonia. Just a quick one from me. I remember at the beginning of the season, you said that head coach Neil Ivey at Notre Dame said for you to just be yourself. Can you assess who that is for you, like what that has become after completion of your rookie season?
Uh, I can try. I think that's hard. I think I'm still working on what kind of player I want to be, but ultimately, I mean, I'm just a player that thrives when I'm playing free, when I'm having fun and not overthinking, and just being confident, being myself, and having faith in my abilities. And I think for the most part, I did that this season. I think there was a couple ups and downs, but through those downs, I think I learned from it and I'll be better for it next year. But yeah, I think someone just that wants to play free, wants to have fun, and is just confident.
Mm-hmm. And was there anything that Neil said to you after? I know it just ended last night, but was there any comments from her and her assessment of what she saw in you as a rookie this year?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to her since the season ended because, like you said, it was yesterday. But when I played in Chicago and she came to the game, I got to talk to her after, and she really just expressed how proud she was of me and just what a blessing I was, and just got emotional. We both did. But yeah, I just expressed how much she's just grateful for everything, for being able to be part of my story. And then again, just being really, really proud of me. And I expressed the same thing that I'm just very blessed to have had her as my coach and just to still have that relationship with her has been amazing.
And lastly, just sticking with the coaching theme here, with Sydney Johnson, what was that adjustment? I mean, I know that was a quick turnaround also after the collegiate
Mhm.
season and then coming into a brand new professional philosophy. But what have you gleaned from how he was able to encourage you, instruct you, and mold you as an all-star rookie?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Sid is amazing. From the beginning, he kind of made it easy to play for him. I think he's just done a fabulous job, really setting the culture with this team, and then also just pushing all of us to be the best we can be, and being hard on us so that we can get better, but also being the first person to congratulate you or tell you what a good job you're doing. So you kind of just get both sides. And he just, again, just really makes you feel seen. There's a couple times this season where he would just call me, or just talk to me and just say, like, basically that he just appreciates me, and things of that nature. But again, he's going to be the first person to push you and make you be better, and also the first person to say, like, hey, I see you. I mean, you're getting better at this or whatever. So he was a really easy coach to play for.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Sony.
Am I good?
You're good.
Oh, nice. All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Sonia.
guys. Thank you.
To do that and to win games and to develop individually, but as a team and set the foundation for what's to come. Like, that's been probably our most proudest moment, is how we've congealed together and created a culture that is going to continue to carry and that, we're giving people to be excited about.
How did you feel like the staff, the leadership group, really kept everybody bought in throughout the whole year? You mentioned
Yeah.
the trades, losing games here at the end of the season.
Mhm.
What did they do to kind of make sure that the train kept rolling?
Yeah, I think did a really good job at just addressing elephants in the room. Obviously during the trade deadlines, just being like, okay, first time going through this, here's what's happened, here's how we're going to adapt. Especially with my injury, addressing the elephant in the room. And I think just one of our daily habits we take pride on is direct communication and honest communication, and just to be involved and have genuine relationships where I feel like I can ask questions. I can ask Jamila, business questions and she's going to answer it. I can ask coach questions about X's and O's and he's going to answer it. And I think just inviting those conversations to happen, it only allows a level of trust and comfort, which allows us to grow, especially as like a young team.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know where I was. Hey, we touched on a bunch of this stuff the other day. So I really just have one more. As you kind of approach the off season as part of this young group with Kiki and Sony and Lucy, and so much unknowns about the about the off season with free agency and CBA stuff. Where do you kind of view your kind of role as someone, like, I don't know, do you want to be active in kind of talking to Jamila about how they're going about building the rest of the roster out for the future? Are you someone who wants to take on a role where you maybe go out and, hey, stay, recruit and tell people, hey, you should come think about coming joining us there? Like, what kind of off-season role on that kind of side do you envision or even want to play?
Yeah, I mean, you answered it when you asked the question. There's a lot of unknown. So I'm not quite sure how to attack this off season. It's my first time. I know I'm old, but it's my first time going through a WNBA off season. So yeah, there's a lot of unknown. So whatever pops up is what we'll have to adapt to.
Hey, Georgia. Obviously the injury created a different rookie season for you than you would expect. However, a lot of time spent with the clipboard in practice contributing as well. How much of a head start mentally has this season provided for you for next year?
Yeah, I think there's a level of comfort of understanding, like understanding coach and what he wants to run, what plays he might want to go to in the flow of the game, understanding the way that Emre draws up the plays on the board is different than, some coaches I've had in the past. So it's just like kind of getting used to that. So when I'm able to physically participate, I'm not worried about like the mental part of it really. And I just wanted to make sure this year and even in this off season, using film as a tool to get used to people's in-game habits, whether that be who I'm playing with or against. Just try and be able to be present in understanding the flow of the game. It's only going to help me next year that I have something else to worry about physically, not worry, but be cautious about or take up a large consumption of my brain about. This year I've been super, super conscious of just about learning the flow of everything, the vibes, I guess, like feeling the vibes out. That's been the theme of the season.
Nothing wrong with vibe checking. To that point, we've talked a lot about team chemistry and having Jade on this team as well. I could see you smile as soon as I mentioned her name. What benefit has it brought to you to have her be along your side in your rookie season?
Yeah, she's just a spark of joy. I mean, like everyone on this team is, but I think the one that takes the trophy is Jade. She's just so competitive. She tries her hardest every time she's on the court. I think that her energy is contagious, and you feel the impact as soon as she gets on the court. But she's exactly the same off the court. I could be rehabbing at 8:15 a.m. and she comes busting through the door, and it's just an immediate sparkle. So her energy is infectious on court and off, and just to have someone that has been through, we've played with each other against each other maybe since we were like 12. Like we've legit known each other. I think y'all think Australia's tiny and I know everyone, but Jade's someone I legit know and I've been with for a minute. So she's just amazing to have along with me on this journey, and I'm super proud of the way that she's handled everything this year as well.
Hey, Georgia. I just want to ask really quick, having spent a season as an honorary behind the bench coach, 20 years down the line, do you think post-playing career we could see you as a assistant coach, video coordinator, whatever, or have you had your fair share of that?
No, I've definitely had a taste of what I thought I would want to do. It's kind of given me the opportunity to dip my toe in and see what it's all about. And like you said, I still have plenty of years playing ahead of me. Obviously want to use all those up because I love it. But eventually, yeah, I want to for sure dip into coaching.
Awesome. Thank you.
I want to sneak one more in. What's the off season look like for you? You're going back to Australia, you're staying here, a little bit of both. Just I know you obviously have to do rehab here, but I'm just curious where you're going to be at.
Yeah, no, I'll be here. Most of my goals right now is to literally rehab and get as ready as I can going into next year. I'm just one that wants to crush it on the front end and stay in a routine and stay consistent with it. And, obviously I'll have situations where I can go and refresh my mind elsewhere. I think that's healthy. And as humans and athletes, we need that. But I'm ready to just stay here and stick at it.
Christy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yep. Hey, Georgia. Just a couple of quick ones. Just having observed you collegiately at both Virginia Tech and Kentucky, and how Kenny Brooks, who was the coach at both schools with you, how he described you as a savant and your understanding of the game. What is, I guess, a couple of nuggets that you can take into next season that not only you gleaned from the Mystics team and the philosophies and the X's and O's schematics and all of the things, but what overall in the WNBA have you learned from, and where you want to grow and where you see yourself fitting in at the pro level next season?
Yeah, I think there's always room for leadership, being that vocal asset, and obviously being a point guard naturally, that's what I have to do, be that extension. I know it's cliche, but it's legit. And I think just watching a bunch of teams this year and just watching the teams like, Minnesota or New York who have been in finals, who have been in those situations, and the way that their lead guards are just so vocal and just know where everyone's supposed to be at all times. That's something going forward that, I had in college, but it's like, my job doesn't change now I'm in the pros. And one unique one, I guess, it's kind of watching the W, and obviously, the shot clock's different, or like the defensive 3 seconds and all of those things, especially with my injury, is like efficiency of movement. Like they're just the steps and the contact they make, before a shot, after a shot. It's just these players are so efficient with their moves, and that's why it looks quick. You're one step ahead, physically, whether you're passing the ball, dribbling the ball, shooting it. So yeah, that's definitely a big takeaway. Is these women are very efficient with what they do.
Right. And last one for me, just in terms of your character and the grace that you have given yourself on a daily basis to get 1% stronger, better every single day. That's always going to be something that I know lives in athletes and in their mentality for that. What have you learned about yourself in that daily growth and strength and courage?
Yeah, I think a huge thing for me is always to just be present in where you're at. Like you said, like it's literally brick by brick. But I think I shared this a couple of days ago with someone, is like, I remember being in college and striving for the W and striving for everything bigger and greater, wanting to be the best. And I just remember having a thought, like, if I was injured, I don't know what I would do with myself. Like, just having that identity as like an athlete and putting everything into that is, sometimes you can get carried away with that. And now I'm 4 months into an ACL injury, and I'm like, it's not that bad. Like, just learning patience and resiliency, kind of, it's been new for me. I've always been on the go, what's next, what's next. And I think that's why this year, like, being so present and patient and just literally like structurally from a knee standpoint, from walking to jogging to jumping, day by day, I have to approach it as a brand new slate. Because what I've learned is, maybe my knee ached a little bit yesterday when I jogged for the first time, but today I actually feel pretty good and I can probably go a little faster. That doesn't mean tomorrow I'm doing the same thing, but it's just like every single day brings something new. And I think that's like the biggest takeaway for sure.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Fire away.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for coming and chatting with us for a little bit. Probably gonna touch on a whole bunch of random stuff.
Yes. I'm not quite talked out, but let's fire away.
Before we get to some big picture stuff, I'm just curious, like today, how have you kind of decided to run today, as far as I assume it's kind of like exit interviews, like kind of how do you hold all your exit interviews today? Just kind of do you lay out an off-season plan for each individual? Kind of how do you approach this last day where you're kind of gonna get everybody kind of come through the office real quick?
Yeah, we're some organizations do them all in one day. Sometimes right now I think we're on today, tomorrow, and the next day is our cadence. Some organizations will do 15, 20 minutes and call it a day. We're doing a little bit longer than that, and giving some feedback, taking more feedback than giving. I know myself and Jamila are meeting with folks, but we also have our players, but then we also have medical and performance, and Jamila's laid out a nice program for us. have our assistant coaches weighing in terms of some feedback for the players that I'm sharing with them, but will also come directly from position coaches as well. So that's pretty much the way we're approaching it. And like I said, in my approach, and I think my colleagues in the building are Jay and our staff, um, trying to receive as much as give out, because frankly that's kind of how we roll, so we certainly have an idea of what we're looking to do, and what our culture is and our development. Um, is taking the lead, but we also want to hear back. So that's generally how it's been playing out. And yeah, to confirm, we've had I'm coming off a few, and we'll head back to one more before we close out the day.
And then the way obviously you said receiving more than you get back, but in that part of get back, is it a kind of a whole off-season plan? Are we kind of talking about like as specific as workouts and where you're going to be and that kind of stuff, or is that stuff get evolved, or do you kind of have all of that lined up already?
Yeah, so we've had some initial conversations already in terms of where everybody's going to be. Obviously, we have three players going overseas. Then we have our unrivaled folks and our athletes unlimited folks, and so we have a general sense of that. Not sure if you're aware as much that, but we do have some off-season training that we've scheduled for our athletes that we're super excited about, and so kind of launching that, and getting to know where everyone is going to be and if they're going to be able to partake, and then as a staff, we'll exhale a little bit, but we've already been taking a million notes in terms of what our focus is going to be for each individual player within that, and then also us as a team, as we want to triple down on how much we want to get them better. We also, frankly, I don't ever think that player development should be divorced from how you want to play, in concert with others. So whether that's 3-on-3, I know, wear that hat a lot or wave that flag a ton, but it just your one-on-one skills in the gym don't really mean a lot if you can't, marry it to four other players. So, just all that kind of stuff is, almost feel like getting ready for a season, just like we have a lot to do that we're going to be excited about once we exhale a little bit.
Okay, now big picture. Yeah, knowing that you haven't got a chance to exhale at all. But as you kind of look back on season one for you, season one of this new culture that you guys are kind of putting together, what has kind of stood out to you, or what will you remember the most about just kind of the path that you guys took from constructing this roster, their journey of development, the ups and downs, and
Yeah.
finally kind of getting to this last point where you guys wrapped everything up.
Yeah, I think, we feel like, look, we understand where we are in terms of, not having more games to play. Our season is finished. Other teams will, be fighting for a championship. Eight teams, and we're not one of them. But in terms of what we talked about, what we're standing on, and really prioritizing our culture and our development. I'm not a betting man. I'm not a teacher handing out grades, but I really like where we are. We talked about trying to go through a 44 game season and be true to what we said we were going to be, which is a hardworking team, a team to embrace getting better, to be direct with each other, to be humble, to be joyful. Like real talk. I mean, you can ask our players. We finished on a really tough slide, and it didn't feel like people were coming into the gym, ready to, um, you know, flip this whole thing upside down. It was no, like let's hold to our habits. Our culture was it was rock solid. I just met with Jade earlier today, and she mentioned I'm gonna try to capture her words, but she talked about our culture being so strong. And she's like, Coach, one sign of that is like when you're off a bit in terms of your culture, like everybody feels it. So when I kept referring to these games, New York and Golden State, in the middle of our tough streak, and how we were so not who we have aimed to be. We were so not competitive, so not connected, and the fact that we all felt it. It wasn't just a coach who was upset by the score. That was like the least of it. And to me, that is such a strong signal for what we've been able to establish. That when we were off, we knew it. When we weren't as connected, we knew it. When we weren't making a great account of ourselves in terms of our daily habits and joy, we absolutely knew it. It didn't have to just come from the head coach. It came from every player in the locker room. And that to me is pretty remarkable considering the short amount of time that we've actually had together and the youth of the locker room. Then when you talk about development and the career years that Akira, the position that we were able to put her in, the position that we were able to put Shug in, and Jade, the half seasons that Emily and Steph in particular were able to have following the All-Star break, where it's a little bit of a roster change and some minutes that we could give, and then let's not get let's not overlook the two rookies who were All-Stars. Kiki in particular, who I think it's a little bit less of shine, and remarkably so, because she's doing her work against the toughest position in the league. So Sonia's a godsend, nothing to take away from Sonia. But Kiki's putting in work against like the best players in our league and getting it done. And even Slim, who is doing her thing in Seattle, but I think she played pretty well with us. So just from a culture and development standpoint, and you're asking for a review of the season, I just feel like, man, we did okay. There's more to go, there's more to do. There's year two challenge, there's off season into 26, all that good stuff. But looking back, we said we were going to be about culture and development. We said we were going to be a home for players and allow them to show up as their authentic selves, but somehow bring it together in terms of Mystics basketball for a city to rally around. I don't know. I feel like I'm like running for office right now, but that's that's how I feel. I mean, you asked the question. That's how I feel.
And one last one, and I'll share it with everybody else. Looking forward, seeing how the players that we are here that will be back kind of have developed. When you kind of start to look to see, okay, what additions do we need? What facets do we need to kind of take the next step? I think the other day you kind of mentioned shooting pregame, just kind of other facets, skill sets that you might be looking to add to this group during the off season to complement this group.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that, a lot of that. I mean, Jamila's done a wonderful job as a general manager, so a lot of that will, come down to the conversations and moves that she'll make. But she's allowed me to weigh in, and certainly leans on her staff as well. So I just want to say, like, it's ultimately, Jamila will take the leadership there as she should. What I can offer up is, yeah, of course, like shooting the basketball, we rank pretty low there in terms of not only, our ability to make that shot, but actually take it. I'd love to see our shot selection in general kind of shift a bit more to being a little bit more 3-point heavy. Slim, was able to bring a downhill attack to our offense that we lost a bit when she was gone. Yeah, taking care of the basketball generally, which goes to decision making. And then defensively, we can scheme in ways that will put our players in a situation to hopefully be a little bit more disruptive. That's more of like a, I don't know if that's necessarily player specific, but that's more coaching, is just like trying to leverage some of our players' skills to be a little bit more disruptive defensively, which is something I talked about later in the year. But that's generally what comes to mind. But we'll have a good amount of time to, like I said, follow Jay's lead, weigh in, and offer some input. But there's a lot of time between now and then to get into that nitty gritty. But it is coming fast. Yep.
This question's naturally going to come across in a negative way, but I don't intend it and such.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when it comes
I'm a
to
head coach. This is not the first for me. So far away, Tyler.
when it comes to the goals that you guys have kind of outlined for this year, is there anything you feel like that you guys still need to be striving for, whether it be in this off season or entering next year, that you were kind of hoping to accomplish this year?
Um, I mean, within the way that you frame the question, I just would say, like, you're never perfect. So, I think, like, the consistency towards those habits that we marked out, so I have referred to, New York and Golden State, who, really, really thumped us, and kind of rocked our identity, I would say, in those two games. Like that, like you don't want that to happen, right? So, like, the consistency, you don't want that ever to happen. And I think that becomes a mark of, like, a different type of team. So in that sense, I'll say that because it's fresh and close to mind. But I have to say, like, over a 44 game season where I'm not going to treat any player or staff member like a robot, we're going to give some grace. Um, in terms of the challenges that we had this season, our youth, which is no longer being written about, but still, like, we want time with this group. We need more reps. We want those desperately. That's why we want to let them exhale. But then, hey, let's get at it in this off season in a coordinated, thoughtful, and supported way. That maybe if you're at another organization, you're not getting that type of support. But it's because you know our owner and everyone from the top down is putting us in a situation to make this happen, that this project long term. So I guess I would just say consistency, where we might have had a step back here or there, but body of work, I'm still very pleased with what we said we were going to do. And maybe if I watch more film, I'll feel differently. But right now, that's how I'm feeling, Tyler.
I appreciate you working with me through that one. In terms of Sonia and Kiki, what's that next step for them? What do you want to see them either come into next year or use next season as a catalyst for what's next?
Yeah, super quick. Like Sonia, I think there's listen, she's the most fouled player in the league. I mean, it's not even close. Like, I don't want to get fined. It's just a joke. Like, I like it's like embarrassing, like how she was officiated this year. But I think one thing that will help her is just, like, some strength training that allow her to you know continue to get fouled, but maybe not be as sore after the game. Like, I don't it's just crazy how she was officiated this year. Never seen anything like it. So that, and I think, like, we had her on the ball, which I'm excited about, like, moving forward. It's not the only thing that she'll be doing. She's really good just playing with others, but just being able to initiate the point of attack, I think, is a fun growth area for her. So I think strength and being a point of attack, but also feeling good in those shoes of being a go-to player, which evolved during the season. Can't overlook, and I just want to, an aside, Paige Beckers is an absolutely wonderful player. I'm based in Connecticut, been able to see her for a while now, but it just would be a shame if Sonia and Kiki don't get real consideration for Rookie of the Year. It would be a real shame, because Sonia has performed at a level where, I mean, she's all-time scorer, single season for the Mystics as a rookie, and went from, like, she wasn't always our first option. So like just let that settle in. Like she did all of this work and the level of efficiency for her to have and not be the first option is like crazy. And then you can say, oh, okay, well, that fall on you, head coach, but I'm developing a whole roster now. So she was able to do all of that work without us, getting her 30 shots a game. I mean, like we got to let that settle in. And then I already talked about Kiki, where she's putting in her work against Tina Charles, Lissa Thomas, Asia Wilson at times, NECA. I mean, Stewie. It's like, what, like really, and performing. So, I just think like those two rookies, like, and to answer your question with Kiki, it would be like just rounding out the playmaking and extending her range to three. But what they've already done is super exciting to build on strength and on the ball and go to for Sonia, playmaking and extending Kiki's range. But also, let's not forget what they're really good at, and let's build on that for year two, and then add some of these things that I referred to.
Last one I have for you. When it comes to the expansion draft, I'm not asking about strategy or anything. We don't even know what
Yeah.
the expansion draft is going to entail. But just what are your kind of general thoughts of how you can control the things that you can control on your side of the organization to make sure that you guys are set up for whatever happens, happens?
I don't know if I can answer that, to be honest. Like not even dodging the question. Like I just don't know. I mean, like we don't know. Like you said, we just don't know enough to know. So, I want every as many of our mystics, that want to be here, that are, ready to roll for the, 26, 27. But I can't even answer that. So I'm hopeful that you know, uh smarter people than me come together, get a deal done so that, we're able to have 26, 27, 28, and then we can kind of focus on particulars of draft expansion and all that stuff. But it's just too premature to even give you a good response.
Hey, Coach. Got one kind of conceptual basketball question, but then I'll throw my own bigger picture question out there. You kind of sprinkled in references to it when you talked about Slim and Sonia, but it felt like after Slim was traded, one of the biggest things you guys lost was having a perimeter player who could really create advantages without a ball screen. And I'm curious, when you look at next year, and I'm not asking you to speculate whether this is going to come through player development or the draft or free agency, but how do you assess, I guess, that type of player, like having a player who thrives in isolation, who you don't always need to get into a DHO or a ball screen? How important do you think that is to have? And or do you think that's just kind of a luxury you had with Slim?
It's such a good question. I here's what I would say. One, we somehow managed to finish top three in the league in free throw attempts. We somehow managed to be around three or four in rim shot selection. So yes, Slim was a big part of that. I also think Kiki and Kira were obviously big parts of that, and that's why we could end the season the way we did over the 44 game stretch with those analytics. And then Shug and Jade threw their hand in there, and Sonia on the off night that a official would actually call a foul for her. So I would say where your question is spot on is that um, enable the ability to get downhill, to get into the lane, to get fouled at the guard position, like you said, without a ball screen, but at the guard position was a nice complement to what we were able to do so convincingly and consistently in the front court. And that kind of gave us a, a two-headed attack to getting in there. And so spot on that, like, and I think other teams, they benefit from that in their way. So yes, we'd like that. Even with that, I still would lean on, 3-point shooting is really imperative for us. It's just the modern game.
Yeah. And then, you keep mentioning New York and Golden State as games where you feel like you guys just kind of lost your process or didn't get it right. I'm curious if you think there's going to be a moment or a game when you look back on this season or when you're trying to inspire future teams. Is there a game, even if it was a loss, where you felt like I got it right, or the team, we got it right this time. We had the right attitude, the right process.
Yeah, I would say you do your homework, by the way. It's a really good question. And I would say I'd probably say like our Vegas games as a whole, because we went to Vegas and early in the season, and we found out a lot about ourselves in a game where Becky does a wonderful job, coached them up, but there was some veteran experience there that kind of like we felt like we might have outplayed them, but they were able to kind of seize that game, and we had to step back and go, okay, how can we learn? And then the next time we went out there, I thought we played really, really well, and we learned all of those lessons. We came here in Virginia, and we kind of held on to those lessons, even knowing that this was a veteran team that was coming back in for revenge, and we were able to stave them off. They've gone on this incredible run, and Asia is playing truly at an MVP level. No offense to anybody else, but she's been spectacular. And I still thought we were in the mix, So it's just like those games, I think, tell almost the story of this season in a way. And that's just coming to mind. There's probably another game here or there, but those matchups where we learned so much about ourselves, we were always resilient, playing against a really good team, getting remarkable performances. Remember, in one of those games, Shug played 40 minutes. Um, Jade took an elbow first play of the game, and Shug played 40 minutes and had a career performance. It was unbelievable. So, and that's the stage that we've allowed these players to be in, and they've allowed us to be on the ride for. But I would say Vegas for me, tons of resilience against a well-coached team, world-class players, and we showed up. We showed up big time. And so we can hang our hat on that.
Thank you.
Coach, forgive me if I didn't hear this question earlier. So if I ask
I'm
it,
good.
feel free to wipe it aside. Throughout the day, almost every player has given a ton of compliments and accolades to the foundation and environment that you've really created for them and poured into them. Just your thoughts on them praising you for the work that you put into them.
Yeah, no, thank you. Cause I'm not I don't know what to say except that like they know Jade's in the back here. She's gonna make fun of me. I'm having the time of my life. She know, I mean, they hear it. I don't know what to say. It's just a really good feeling to be welcomed in, like I'm just telling you, I've coached enough times where there's not always this synergy for whatever reason, and it's not players blame, it's not coaches, it's not always like this. And you can still, win games and all that. This is something different. Like when I tell you, you all had to remind me that we were on a 10-game skid, and I'm not a dumb guy. I can count, but it just didn't feel that way, man. Like they let me in, they let me coach them, they let me be corny, they let me, be difficult at times. They let me coach them, and they gave a ton of themselves. So for me, that's really nice to hear. But they just don't know how much they've made me love coaching. Like that's all I can tell you. Like I just wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So that's all I got. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you all. Appreciate you. Thanks. Oh, wow. Joey, nice to stay in the office. What's up?
Yeah, one question.
Done.
That's right. Setting the. I'm joking.
My flight's tomorrow. It's all good.
Short flight, right?
Short flight, really short.
Hey, what's up, Jay?
What's up?
Thank you for taking the time. Appreciate it. Sounds like you have a long flight coming up.
No, it's a breeze.
Just want to ask you to kind of like look back a little bit and just kind of the journey of this whole season. The newness in so many different ways that you just listened to us all kind of talk about it. Ups and downs of a season, both personally and as a group. Kind of what stands out to you when you kind of think back about how it all came together and how you kind of tried to figure out your role in this whole thing as it was like continually evolving throughout the year.
Yep. I mean, the most impressive thing is we knew the goal going into this season wasn't to win a championship. It was, to lay the foundation for what the Mystics want to be moving forward. And I think, obviously, I'm biased, but I think we did a pretty good job of that. I think from start to finish, everyone grew in some sort of aspect. Games collectively got a lot better. Our identity as Mystics, playing with that joy, getting better every day, all our daily habits, they were echoed and they were also followed up as well. And I think the buy-in from everyone's really laid the foundation for what I know this franchise wants to do moving forward. It was exciting. We celebrated one another. Kiki, Sonia, they broke record after record. I didn't realize there was that many records to break. They just kept doing it. My fellow point guard buddy Shug had a career best year, and that was awesome to see. I could honestly go up and down the roster with the individual growth and just the small things that people were able to achieve that the outside people might not notice, but the growth was enormous. So, I think just as an individual, I definitely felt the development. This place allows you to grow through mistakes as well. And I think all the coaches do a fantastic job of encouraging us and letting us know that we're important. And I think that's really cool as well. So the growth was huge. I obviously took on a bit of a bigger role. My minutes doubled, and there were some growing pains with that, trying to figure it out, trying to be more of a voice and a leader. So there's a lot of things I'm excited to do over the next 6 months to be that piece that I know I can be. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, just continuing to grow, get better, and just be the best teammate possible.
Took me right there. Next 6 months, kind of what's the focus? Have you identified a couple things that, hey, when I come back here, when I come back next season, I want to add X to my game or have added X to my game during the off season?
Yeah, for me, it's just growing as a point guard and growing as a leader, honestly. I've played professional basketball for a while now. I know I'm still young, but I feel like I've said to myself, oh, you're the young person. I've always kind of taken a back seat. I love to listen and observe, but it gets to a point where like I need to step up and you don't get any younger. So, I play in the national team. I'm the youngest. I played professional when I was 17. I came here as the youngest player in the league. So I'm always just like, oh yeah, but over time you actually do get older, and it's a time now to step up. And I really think like I can, take that point guard position with two hands, whether that's coming off the bench, but really just be that person that can get a team organized, recognize the mismatches and stuff, just really getting engaged with the X's and O's. And I obviously didn't go to college. I don't like school. So just being a student of the game and pursuing something that I actually do enjoy, I think is a kind of a next step for me. Obviously, consistency in my 3-point jump shot, being able to consistently finish more at the rim, maybe even convert some M1s and that kind of thing. So I'm excited. I head back to a team that I've been with for 6 years, going into my 6th year. I have the opportunity to captain that team. So my team depends on me. And I think that's going to really allow me to, it's a good time frame for me to improve on some things. And then I also get game reps as well. And that's something I'm really excited about because I think a lot of my growth comes from game reps, things you can't script because as a point guard, you got to be ready for everything. So I'm excited to take that on and excited for the growth over the next 6 months.
And one last one for me and I'll shut up. We've talked before and you said, the business side, off season stuff, you pretty much leave that up to your agent.
Yeah.
But you are unrestricted.
I am.
How do you want to be completely hands off? How involved in that conversation, and things do you want to be, and regardless of where, what are you kind of looking for in your next team, whether it's here or somewhere else? I don't know if there's certain facets or traits of a team that you're like, hey, I want someone who's, you know, their goals are different, or their whatever their goals are, or whether they're contending or playoffs, or the million different things that it could be. Do
Yep.
you have some facets of a that you're looking for, wherever that may be?
Yeah, like I think we touched on, I leave a lot of it up to my agent. I let them do the talking. I'm not a controversial person, so don't like to do a lot of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just leave it up to them. Obviously, I'm not just gonna say put me anywhere. So there's different things like, but I think the most important thing is like I just want to be in a place where I can be myself. Just be me. And be appreciated for who I am. And I definitely felt that here. Um, and yeah, so that's kind of a need for me. I just want to be surrounded by good people. You don't know that before you meet someone. Obviously, you can always hear things about them. But I think I'm not going to think about it for a while now. I don't think those conversations happen immediately. I also have never been a free agent before, so I'm not sure how it all works. I'm still learning. Um, but yeah, whatever happens, happens. Obviously, I do have that tag on me. So yeah, wait till my agent comes to me with information. I'll feed him information. He can do the business side of things. So, yeah, there's no rush on it. We also the league could be anywhere. We don't know what's going on with that. So yeah, just making sure. I think the next step for me is staying connected with the Mystics, and seeking feedback from the coaches, taking that into my off-season team. I like to give 100% to wherever I am at that moment, so I won't be thinking about the W too much. And then yeah, when the time comes to have those conversations, I'll be talking to my agent a lot. But yeah, no thoughts on it so far. Yeah, that's just the way it is, and that's the business side of things. No worries.
Hey Jade,
What's up?
you mentioned Australia being your off-season team. Do you view it as being in Australia as your off-season, or is it just kind of like 2 seasons? I'm just curious that perspective for you of how you have that.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's not an off season to be completely honest with you. Like I said, wherever I am at the time, I'll give my 100% everything into that program. And obviously, being an Australian and one of the faces of that league and being a marquee player, I think, yeah, it'd be pretty unfair to them if I considered an off season, didn't really buy in. So, yeah, what we're building at my Canberra team has been super important to me. And I have, kind of a huge role over there. So, yeah, I just buy into anything, and I know each season will complement one another. I develop my game here that'll help me in Australia. I get to work on things in Australia that will then help me the following season. So, honestly, you just look at it as a 10-month season. To be completely honest, it's obviously two teams, but yeah, there's not really much time off. But I mean, I love basketball, and that's the way it is, and yeah, I enjoy it. So.
When you're setting benchmarks for yourself, like at what point is that of the year is that? Is it after your WNBA season? Is it after your WNBL season? When do you like start checking things off like, hey, I accomplished this over the past 12 months or whatever?
Honestly, in this, throw international commitments in there. It's not a lot of time to reflect on much. You get to the end of some years and you're like last year, obviously, was a whirlwind for me getting traded, going to the Olympics, getting a medal, going back to Australia. Like it just felt like it didn't stop. But yeah, I have goals going into every season. They vary depending on what my role is. I'm someone that never really judges my performance off the stat sheet. It's did I fulfill my role for that team? So just identifying my role early days, just making sure I, play up to my full potential in that. And then there's different things that complement one another and seasons go hand in hand. So just continuing to grow. I'm still young. There's a lot of things I don't know. So just continuing to get better. And yeah, when I do get, a week off maybe, I've only got 8 days between this one and the next season. Yeah, just making sure I take that time to reflect, appreciate what I have done and set next goals for the next 2 years, because who knows when the next break's coming. Appreciate it.
Hey Jade, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We spoke to Georgia earlier and asked her about the camaraderie that you and her share, obviously being two Australians. And she mentioned about how you helped kind of guide her through the process of just dealing with this season. But you've also quickly gotten a reputation of being a rather joyous and passionate person. I'm just curious, how essential is that to your individual success? Like, how much of that has to be there for you to
Yeah.
be successful?
I mean, if I'm not having fun or if I'm taking things too seriously, you don't want that Jade Melbourne on your team. No, I need that. We all fell in love with the game of basketball because it was fun. And if you take that aspect away and it becomes a job, I think that's when you really get stuck in the grind and things can feel a lot heavier than they are. So, yeah, I think that if I can bring joy to my team and make everyone know that, basketball is one thing, but life's a whole other thing, and we can just enjoy ourselves and, be the best version of ourselves. I don't think anyone that locks in and takes it way too serious is at their full potential. So, this thing's meant to be fun. Joy is a word that was used so much this season, but it's so true. When we were playing and having fun and connecting and celebrating one another was when the Mystics were playing their best basketball. So, yeah, that's a big part of who I am. I was raised like that. My mum always approached everything with a glass half full. So yeah, I always found the positives in life, and yeah, nothing's too deep or serious. And when you keep it like that and are able to stay on track, I think that's when you enjoy yourself and you also grow.
My last question. As soon as you get home, first thing you're looking forward to doing?
I can't wait to see my dog. Can't wait to see what my boy Jimmy and Snoopy. They'll be full of energy. Hopefully, they recognize me. And then a good Australian coffee. Yep. Appreciate it. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you later.
I'll leave Thursday night, get home Saturday morning.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all right, guys. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for everything, Jay.
Appreciate it.
What's that? I don't think so either. But I didn't see when you left.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, my bad. So
I'm pretty sure you.
Did you miss first?
yeah. Okay, wonderful. So it was like AC and
Yep. Indeed. The battery you got there. So you say AC and yep. We each get one question.
I'm good.
You're right.
comfortably no.
Wish you were here.
Same that. Same. I was gonna say same chord. I'm like, wait a second. I did.
It's like giving y'all listen. It won't even. Maybe stop giving away shit.
You like
Sell that shit back. We get a refund on this stuff. Yeah.
to a small village.
They had like every Tuesday they did since they made everybody go back to office. Every Tuesday they had like this lunch thing, like trying to encourage people to come back. Right. The day, like I think that's 2 weeks ago, they had like monsters. I was like, hold up. Yeah, and we'll let you go, but
I would get my own. Then I'm like, I don't do office pop. So what I do with office was that don't sound right. That sounds like gas station sushi.
and I'm like, you gotta be prepared for however many people,
Right.
Like a whole newsroom.
So if you do it for a whole newsroom, where did Morris come from? How long they been sitting there? Like, what's the spot?
Wow. I don't know where I don't know somewhere.
I like to see the water moment. You know what I mean? I like to look at it and go, oh, look at me right there.
Either way,
So, that was such a mix.
seemed like an expensive.
Yeah, that's it. This could have been then I would have been equally as still not eating it, at least because they things we learned.
Scale back on some of these great.
So great. I have to stop. Teamwork.
Mm.
Oh, you did that.
Yes, yeah.
You're still in my house. Out of class at times.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. It's been in my hand.
Yeah.
Somebody
It ain't be no farther.
like, I need to get
Yeah. Hey, that stuff that like piles up all of a sudden and it ends up being like Christmas gifts or some so fast stuff real quick. Some kind of giveaway.
I go to Google, take one of those industrial outdoor bags, right? Like legal and shit. Fill it to the brim, take it to the pair of Asian t-shirts on.
Take all this.
I might be responsible for all the random ass t-shirts in the city, y'all. Yes, mercy. Hurt my heart. It was 2 days after we had the last week city. It was a so, 48 hours later, I'm like, did you even get that? Glad you stayed there.
But I know that just came out.
That just came out 2 days ago. Like, where did you get that? Oh, you dropped that person.
Tuesday are the only days I know.
I have been insufferable. Watch.
They'll start.
Yeah, that too.
What are your shows?
What the Bachelorette, what Bachelorette.
The golden match.
Oh, well, at least you got one. You got your track.
I like junk TV, but I don't watch it in real time.
Oh, no.
I basically don't watch anything in real time.
You just binge it, wait for it to end and binge.
Like, I hate
Wait.
watching and then waiting like a month for the reunion.
Yeah.
And I won't watch the reunion in parts. I watch it when all three have been recorded.
Yeah.
So I can go through it. And I always leave the last episode before the reunion to watch with reunion shows. So that I like
so you
have
can go
them
right
considered
in.
exactly. Anyway, my other shows are you, of course.
Steak on the road
Who doesn't
steak.
watch
Marathon.
Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Bound. I've gotten into Doc, the new show. What else do I have on my DVR? I'm weird. I like a lot of like the police and them shows.
Obviously.
I have
Yeah,
not
I
watched.
was gonna say, like, you and Dickwood.
Yes, right?
I did watch Watson in its first season. It was pretty good. It was very interesting.
Who was the lead actor in that?
Um,
I feel like I watched a couple of
Orange
them.
Chestnut?
The Luke Cage
Yeah.
Oh.
actor.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Michael,
Isn't it Orange Chestnut?
Boris Chestnut is on one.
I'm terrible with actors and actresses' names.
On my phone.
Oh, you take notes.
And technology.
I don't think I'm.
We can find anything.
I tell people that, I'm like, why are you guys? This is the nice
You know, the lose your friend.
I did watch Blue Blood, so I'll most likely watch Donnie Wahlberg's new Boston show he's coming out with.
Does every city have a PD show?
Or CSI.
You're right.
Yeah.
I heard CSI Tulsa. I mean, let's see how that goes. I'm just curious.
Yeah, those are the main ones I watch.
You got quite a list.
Yeah.
That's why I never finished them. I have like 12 episodes of Bound to watch. And then I think I have the last 9 episodes of Chicago PD.
What was found?
Bound is the one where
Was that the one with the woman from Shameless?
I think I didn't watch Shameless, but I think so. She has dreads.
I know she had dreads and Shameless.
She runs a
Really good looking.
she runs her consulting firm finds missing people. And she was a child kidnapped. And she ends up kidnapping her kidnapper
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
and holding him a hostage, chained up in her basement.
Okay.
And he manages to escape at some point. Haven't gotten there yet.
You would think somebody good
Yeah.
kidnapping would be good at getting out of
Yeah, she's
Right.
she's the one. Shameless was such a good show.
Okay.
If you like dysfunctional family shows.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of dysfunctional
I
family,
like the early seasons.
Netflix documentary.
The late ones got a little rough.
Yeah.
What's her name left?
I do love.
What's Emmy Rossum left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been using my brother.
I don't even think I watched it. I don't
Can't
know.
use
To be
it.
perfectly honest.
Yeah, rough.
I managed to use it up until.
But I love
the
Frank.
Wizard season.
Frank
God,
is
I
great.
And that was even after they
Frank is
changed it,
great.
and I was bumming around. Everybody's talking about how like they're not.
I loved every
Yeah.
actor.
I was still working every time. I literally would say.
And Bear before he was the bear.
I don't
Right.
know the plane,
Is today the day?
and I would be like,
Yep.
and it would be like, Matt, I'm like, look at.
I never watched the English
So
version.
she's like, Netflix.
It
I was like,
was
still
good.
good.
Yeah.
Still good.
That show
And
was
the time
based
I
on
didn't
a
answer, he was like,
show in
"You
England.
no longer have
The
it."
bear or
Shameless.
Shameless? Really?
Yeah.
We pay my in-laws.
I had no idea.
Difference.
Yeah.
What's his
to-
name was in there?
It's like $5 or whatever. We pay that. We send them pizza a month.
Young Professor X.
At least we can do for them.
Oh, I know it. Yes.
I think I get like the not
The split
actor
guy.
one, but like
Yes.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking
That's
about.
in there.
I can never remember his name to
Yeah.
save my life though.
So I guess he was in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Running out of content.
Didn't know that.
I've seen some murder mysteries, all that documentary shit. Thinking up on it. One thing is, like, eventually, I'm like, man, somebody try to that me, please, so I can
I'm
find
ready.
my own
I'm
documentary.
ready.
I should be 3 episodes too. I'm telling you, this moving out. Hard did not take a job. Unlit wood.
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy. Yeah.
I'm going to town and I get kidnapped in daylight. And I'm like, how don't we see this? But Doc, it's about a doctor who gets into a car accident and has amnesia. It loses like 8 years of her life.
Yeah, she switched up.
And she was like a jackass
Yeah.
before the accident.
Uncouth.
And the accident, she doesn't realize that she's like coming back, like why people are like not speaking to her.
I feel like I saw a commercial for that. I never saw the show.
And
Like-
it's because she was such a jackass. And she's like figuring it out. Like, why are people being mean?
She
She didn't realize how mean she was to them.
Because you were
shows like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Except there was
Couple
it
things.
got a little too real. Like I gotta look away
I'm like,
sometimes.
I'm not watching.
I'm not good at watching people have surgery. So there's moments I'm like, oh, whoop, nope, nope.
Gross anatomy got me out pre-med. Quick, homie.
I was watching something. We're on the plane. Glenn's my plane seatmate. And we're eating like food on the plane. And he's like, how can you eat and watch that? I was like,
Our surgery, get it on the TV on grandma's house. Like, yeah, back when TLC actually used to
showed stuff.
Yes.
It did not blur it out.
They used to show flat out surgery. That's what I'm saying. I'm sitting there like,
They would like, what's that?
that's crazy. Suture.
All that
You know, you gotta scrape that out.
Yeah,
All that scar tissue right there, bro.
They gotta open up a whole cavity. I'm like,
It's gonna be 3/4 inch on that one. That's a pin that's not gonna move.
I can watch the goriest horror movie that's out there, but if it comes to real life, something like that, I can't.
Yeah.
The real life stuff is way worse than like just alien gore.
Fantasy horror is easy.
The joke about that is I'm like the complete opposite. I cannot watch. I don't do horror. I don't like being scared, but I will sit in a dark house with all the lights off and watch Dateline.
Oh, hell no.
And then go to sleep.
No.
I can sleep to Dateline or like 20 or 48 hours.
About
straight,
stalker people
The
been
one-
outside
It has
the house.
my window, and I'm just like,
I'm gonna shut the night up. Why don't you do that shit watching Unsolved Mysteries and see how long it takes to get that song out of your head? Unsolved.
I literally follow.
I've got friends who can't watch SVU because of that.
For real?
You know, it's like
I mean,
a
it is
single
trauma.
a single woman living by themselves at like
Yeah.
12:30 at night watching SVU and all the crazy shit that happens.
Stuff.
That'll get you.
And like in my apartment, I'm not really nervous about it. But when when I go to my parents' house, if they're like gone, or like when I was younger and I was home alone, did I go through a checklist of making sure
Every
every
door.
Yeah,
before I
right.
start the month? Yes,
You
I
checking
did.
the windows.
Every door, every place. So, putting chairs behind doors and everything. Like, you come in, bitch, I'm gonna hear you.
Pool and no pump.
Do the same shit on
Did
myself.
I have a bat under the couch just in case? Sure did. I'll make sure to always make sure I was ready.
Ready.
Keep a little something out there.
Keep moving, you know?
Never.
I got an Easton sitting in the corner of the bedroom.
I'm telling you. Just waiting.
And the don't use the wood. Use the wood. Impact one punch.
Yep.
Is that so? Curie and aluminum. We all rethink.
I mean,
Aluminum's good for intimidation,
Yeah,
but
aluminum.
wood is far more effective.
But people don't think of
Well,
when
one
you
is
think
thinking,
about
but you can
that,
swing
I'm
that
a-
aluminum.
I'm a lot.
Yeah, it's lighter.
You can get
Swing
it's
it.
lighter.
And then that sounds worse.
Lighter, like,
Yeah.
have it.
Like don't
I
swing
think
soft.
you use
No,
it,
no.
so.
But
Okay.
you can generate a lot of
Yeah,
speed
a lot of
with it if
speed
you
with
got
it.
it, but you got to swing it.
You know how to swing a bat properly. Swing with bat. It's a lot of good.
The ultimate
That's like-
trick is you get a little league aluminum. Little league aluminum. It's a big one. You got to space for that shit. Get you a little league aluminum.
That's what I'm
about
saying.
yay big.
You know, this is like it's almost like a little
But you can come close.
but a little sticks
Swell
the
yourself
cops hold carry.
Oh,
That's
the
it.
Yeah, a little baton.
But
That's what those little that's what those little junior aluminum bats are like.
Ding, ding. You hear me?
Said somebody was close.
AC.
That's also accurate.
We've talked about so many TV shows.
We've gone, yes,
Let's create our own.
we've hit a good.
Got a picture of it. Amnesia. But he
Just
still-
as we say that, we'll hear.
agree.
This is done recording.
Right.
Wait, what?
We have fun.
Yes. Recording stop. Wait, what?
Everybody.
Mhm.
Everybody down.
I thought that yesterday. I was looking for football last night.
I'm telling you, why you think that's better today?
I wasn't looking for it last night. I was thinking today would be the day. I'm like, oh no. running since what, one? Back one interview, there's another at 5 that I'm not gonna make. They're both on 5 now. Wish I should tell 5 that not be on. She's like, but I love you, boy.
You out of here? Yeah, I gotta get on across the bridge.
Smart man.
We'll see you next time.
Take it easy. Enjoy that cheat day.
Hey man, when I tell you,
I'm about to say, go turn some, tear some up.
somebody's meeting.
Swing through that Popeyes right up around the corner.
It's not that great.
It's not that much of a cheat.
I will run the light. I will take the fight.
You barbecue person?
Yeah.
I just discovered Rock Ones, if you've ever been there.
Pearl.
I discovered them like a month ago.
What is that?
Rockin's Barbecue is one on Wisconsin. I usually smash.
There's
don't
one
know
in
about that.
Arlington and Clarendon.
Oh, that's because I'm never on that side of town.
So good.
Delicious.
I mean, like if you're in pork belly's fire,
The
rib it.
brisket. I love the
Brisket is so good. Ribs, all of it. Damn. Stay somewhat attempting to stay disciplined. I'm gonna fail, but I'm damn sure gonna fail.
Just don't get any bread with it. Just eat the meat. It's protein.
That is why I love that. Look,
What did he say?
that is a wise man. Just don't eat the bread.
Just get the meat market.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Get like 4 meats.
Like, I'm not doing one. It's a smart man. That's fake.
Right, just leave that right there.
Bruh. I mean, I literally was like, oh, well, I'll be at. Wait, no, I'm not. Give me one reason to stay. Yeah, that's what I'm looking about the kind of right now. Yeah. Gotta have a safe one.
All right, y'all.
Take it easy, y'all.
See you guys.
Bye.
I'm not gonna be far behind them if
Well, that's too much longer.
no.
Two more butters.
Yes.
Yeah, my original second interview, I had scheduled for 4. I thought that gave me plenty of time.
Typically, they just churn them out so much that you wish you got like a 5-minute break.
Yeah, we got the break system. Turned it out and. Oop. Hey, hey.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you guys? Good.
Thank you for hanging out.
Thanks for waiting.
No, good. We on your schedule.
All right, let's see. What is the weave doing? Oh, it's all right. It's falling okay. That down because it lightens up. People are gonna pause and Zoom. We know how people on social media are.
Get you making a face.
People are like, oh, who's that texting her? No, mind your business.
All right, let's get started. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again. Kind of going to start, kind of a big picture thing. Just, weird season a little bit, with the mid-season move and everything. So, kind of when you go kind of look back and just kind of the journey of this year and kind of what stands out to you and how did you feel kind of as you wrapped up in not necessarily a new place, another new place that you've already kind of been here, but just the journey of your season because I know you said, hey, your happiness because was priority number one this year. So how did that all play out?
Yeah, no, for me, I think I haven't had too much time to be able to dive into and process what this season was. This past off season, I had a vision for what I thought this year was going to look like, and I was working towards things, and to go into a season and it be the complete opposite of what you thought it was going to be, is not only hard in itself, but to then process that, I think is going to take a little bit of time. But on the flight back last night, I think something that I was sitting there just thinking about was like, I'm so proud of myself and the way that I allowed like God's light and character to shine through me to be consistent throughout this chaotic summer that I had. And for people that know me, like my faith is a big part of who I am. And when things aren't going well, it's easy to be like, oh, thank God for this. And when things are going well and, blessings on here. But it's like, can you maintain that same sense of gratitude and gratefulness when things aren't going your way? And that for me was, I think, my biggest takeaway throughout the season was that when I look back, I can say like my character and who I am at my core stayed consistent throughout, and I'm really proud of myself for that.
As you hit this weird, crazy off season that we've got right now, and um, all the unknowns, CBA, and all that stuff, with your role with the committee, do you kind of shift into that mode now that the playing days are on? Do you kind of throw yourself into it? Does that become like the full-time job now as working on the CBA? How does your schedule slash responsibilities with that now pick up now that the court stuff is done?
Yeah, it's honestly almost immediate. Having Terry and Michael in New York last night and just having conversations with them, like my ECVP hat is on, and so while my games are done, I can now step in and be the liaison for the rest of the EC that are still continuing in playoffs. I can be now the face that and be in meetings and places that I need to be on behalf of us while they go out there and continue to compete, going for a championship. So my mind is absolutely in that mode now already. It hasn't even been 24 hours, but I know what this offseason means, not only just for the players, but for this league as well. And so, yeah, that's where my mind is, where I can be present, where I can continue to push and fight where, is needed. And that's where I'm at.
Two more for me, and then I'll let it go. In that same vein, today, what the Democratic caucus, a couple caucuses had 85 Congress people signed the letter to Kathy supporting your players, saying, "Hey, negotiate in good faith." What does that mean for y'all? And I don't know how much how much background you have on how that came together, but them putting that out, what's that mean for you guys as a players?
Yeah, I mean, there was actually a call
that started, I think, 15 minutes ago. But obviously, I'm here doing these things.
Yeah, I think it's well, there's
Is it?
definitely interviews at 5.
Yeah, so I think, but to the point, I think just seeing the support that we have, um, and I've been a part of a couple, not a part in like this fashion where I'm on the EC, but like a part of a couple different CBA negotiations now, and just the support from the outside, from the Democratic caucus to be able to step in and see what it is that we're doing and fighting for, and to show support of that, I think speaks to just where this league is, where the players have helped it grow to be. And I love being able to feel backed in what it is, this fight that we're after. Because it always hasn't been that way. And, I've sat in a lot of spaces where that wasn't always the case. And so, I'm grateful for it, and I'm proud of our union for continuing to be the standard in what these types of fights look like. And so to be a part of that is something I'm proud of.
And excuse me, one last one, more focused on you and looking ahead towards the future. And
Uh-oh.
we know we don't know things. Yes, we don't know how these are going to shake up, but you're going to be unrestricted next year. I'm assuming you want to play next year, and assuming that you want to play next year, what are some things, whether it's here or elsewhere, what are some traits in a team organization that you're going to be looking to prioritize wherever it may be?
Yeah. I definitely want to play. So,
That's
I think, that was part of it for me too this season, is just like proving to myself that I can still play, and like I'm still good enough to play. There's a mental battle that you always have to fight. And I'm not going to go into detail, but like there's a mental battle that as athletes you have to fight when your other influences and voices are coming and telling you what you can and can't do, what you are and aren't capable of. And so you start to question a little bit. And so for me, it was like, I need to prove to myself, like, what I'm thinking and what I know is actually true. So I definitely want to play. I definitely, I'm grateful that I feel great. I'm grateful that I made it through another season healthy. Especially, where I'm at this point in my career. So that's something I'm grateful for. But yeah, this off season, I mean, I'm going to continue like how I was this past off season. I want to enjoy coming to work every day. I want to be, I want to come into work and enjoy competing with the players that I show up every day with. I want to be a part of an organization that is investing in us as athletes, in our ability to compete, making sure we're surrounded by the resources that we need to be the best athletes, night in and night out on the floor. And I want to compete to win. I want to be able to be in a spot where there's a collective understanding of what it is we're fighting for, and everybody understanding that, and that's what we're going after. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. And for me, again, I'm super grateful that I even get to still be in these conversations with where I'm at. But that's something that I want to help change the narrative of. When you look at male sports, it's always like, oh wow, he's 38 and 40 and he's striving, like, oh, how amazing. But on the women's side, it's like, oh, like, are you like, what do you want to do? Do you want to have a family? Do you want to stop? Like, how do you feel? It's not the same sentiment. So for me personally, I'm just like, I want to help shift that narrative. Like, age, like being 38 is not knocking on death's door. You know what I mean? Especially in this age where you have the resources, people are understanding their bodies better and knowing how to take care of them properly. So yeah, careers are going to be extended because of that. And so I think just being able to continue to be in that space with the ones before me. I mean, you look at DT and Birdie, and what they were able to do. Like when I was a rookie, freaking Taj McWilliams Franklin was still playing, so I'm like, there's more there, and not allowing these narratives to put caps on older players of like, oh, you can't do it. I'll be the one to be able to say when I can't do it anymore.
Just real quick, when you say follow up, when you say compete to win, do you mean like be on a team that's, in title contention, or do you just want to be like competitive on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, just on a daily basis, like being able to come in this environment and like the way that, the team attacked every day, I loved. Like, I was like, wow, they show up every day and compete. You wouldn't have known. I mean, we didn't end the season, I think, in the way that we had hoped, but you wouldn't have known that that's where we were based on how we showed up here every day. And that's something that I love. You know what I mean? So competing to win looks different in every team, every organization. And so for me, it's going to be about which is the best fit for that. But yeah, like I want to be in an environment where we're competing. And, you know, I'm grateful that this was a place that I ended up and was able to do that with this young group. Yeah.
Your answer 2 questions ago might make this a little bit awkward. But just the way we've seen you kind of immediately jump into this team and be able to kind of coach up the rookies, and you're the first one to speak in the huddles, the players at the podium, they're always talking about what you said in the locker room and what has kind of stuck with them. And obviously your experience being on the EC of the WNBPA. Have you ever thought about going into coaching or going to the front office when your playing days are done? I'm not trying to shove you off the court, but
Like, what are you trying to do over here?
but have you thought about that or considered that at all?
I've thought about it. The coaching aspect of it, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I've been grateful that, like, at least throughout my career, in 2013, I took off from overseas to coach in my alma mater at MTSU. So I was able to step into the coaching side of things, to be able to kind of, yeah, shout out Craig. That's where we, you know, spent all our time in the lab doing our B-roll and all of that. No, but I was grateful that I did that at that time because of this sentiment, right? Like, people have always asked and thought like, oh, you would be a great coach, because of the leadership style, because of the way I'm able to relate and bring people together and help elevate, you know, whatever environment I'm in, which I'm extremely appreciative of. But I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, because like I like stability, and I feel like in professional sports things are so unstable. And I want to be able to know that I have the time to be able to pour into and help watch players grow and grow as not only players but as people as well. And so I don't know if that's coaching. Um, you know, maybe it is something front office, and that's kind of where I've started to think more of like maybe I should explore this avenue a little bit more. So that's what I plan on doing this off season, to try to figure out what that looks like and what areas, um, with what I bring and what I have to offer, would be able to fit in those spaces. So that's what I'm looking at.
You mentioned growing and developing players. I want to ask you about Sonia, playing a similar position as you.
Yeah.
What have you seen from her that has just really stood out with how she's handled this rookie season, all the pressure she's faced? She now has the ball in her hands more, but she's still been so steady with this team.
Yeah, I think that alone, like her poise from like day 2 of me being on the team, jumped out to me immediately. Um, you know, I don't know what it's like to be, you know, the go-to quote unquote superstar player of a team, but I've been around enough of them to watch the really great ones, like what makes them great. And that ability to be poised in all situations, all scenarios, is something they all had in common. And so being here, seeing that in her, I was really, really impressed with. You know, she doesn't get rattled. At least she doesn't show it, which I also think is a plus. Like, the opponent never knows, you know, how she's feeling, and I think that can be such a superpower. You know, you have players that are super emotive that come out and they show you and wear their emotions on their sleeve, and you're like, okay, cool. And there's other players that are just like, you have no idea. And so, it's been pretty cool to watch her. I've picked up, you know, in the time being here, of like when she might be frustrated or whatever, but like the opponents don't know that. And so I think that's going to be something that's going to carry her a very long way in this league. I've seen it a little bit, like a little bit. Yeah. No problem.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, we've been talking with a lot of, especially the younger players today, about like what you learned this season and things like that. For you, as someone who, for your first 5 or 6 years, you were on teams that didn't break 500. Now, when you look back at those years, what did you take from those years that you hope these young players take here? And obviously, hopefully they can get to over 500 quicker than that. But, you know, what did those years mean for you as a player?
Those years for me were crucial in like building my habits. You know, when you aren't winning,
what do your habits look like? Do you maintain your professionalism? Do you maintain your routine? Like, how do you go about that? Do you allow the outside circumstances to dictate how you show up? And for me, I hope that for them, and that's something that I tried to impart on them, was regardless of the outcome of the game, like you have to do the things to maintain yourself, your body, your mind. Like you have to still continue to show up and be a professional and do your job. Because at the end of the day, this is our job. And so, can you still do that when you're on a 6-game losing streak? Can you still find that belief within the group? Can you see that and pull that out of each other in those times? And so, you know, for me, I was really fortunate to have some amazing vets during those years to be able to teach me. And so, you know, I've had some people over the last 24 hours saying like, yeah, just the way that you show up every day, the routine, all of those things matter because they don't know. And so for me, it was like, well, that's normal. You know, like you should be lifting, you should be doing recovery, you should still be getting shots up and working on player development. I don't care what the record is. And so I hope just by showing up and doing the things that I've done, I hope that's shown them that like this is how you start a foundation and this is what you build off of, those building blocks. Because when you get to the highs and you're competing for championships, you're going to always fall back on your habits. And what habits have you started? What habits have you started to build? And you want to make sure that those are good ones and great ones.
Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Thanks.
Got you out of here.